Whether you like it or not, spreadsheets are a part of Yu-Gi-Oh! And serve as an invaluable tool to expedite the deck learning process. However, something that we can all agree on is that information is meant to be free. Yet tons of YouTubers make a note of invalidating this by selling their spreadsheets as an expensive add-on service. Now, I'm not taking a shot at anyone, because, well, people gotta eat. But I do think that it can be a little frustrating spending a fortune on a deck only to feel like you're falling behind the competition because spending $20 to $30 is a lot just to learn something that is meant to be fun. So in the name of making information free, I decided to upload this video which will serve to both showcase and explain all the combos I use when playing Lunalight. But first, let's take a look at the list. So a lot of you may already know this, but we just got an emergency ban list where Konami did the right thing by basically banning all of the floodgate type monsters with the exception of Water Barrier Statue for some reason. Because of that, there's been a few changes to the deck. Some of them are very welcomed, while others, well, it's a very minor inconvenience because we obviously had to drop the D barrier from the side and instead we're playing Mischief of Gnomes. That's, quick spoiler I'll give you, because this works well against Mitsurugi. It's basically what we can use it for. We can also use it against a ton of synchro strategies in case they come up. So yeah, we're playing Mischief of Gnomes. Not as good as D barrier, but obviously it's your next best thing since we can no longer use that. You'll also notice at a glance that we are no longer playing Imperm in the main because you no longer need it for the Mjolnir lock. Instead, we can go kind of all in on breakers, and I feel as though this is a list that I'm a lot more comfortable with than playing something that's very iffy. Like, Imperm is great if you draw it, it's great for very specific scenarios, but otherwise it kind of feels as though it doesn't do enough. But anyway, this is a 40 card list. I think 40 is the right number for Lunalight because it doesn't really have any bricks. You basically just want to play a good amount of engine, and I guess most decks will have about the space for about 15 on engine, which is enough at 40, especially when your deck has this much push. So we're playing 11 1-card starters or 1.5 card starters. So it's 3 Goleo, 3 Masquerade, 1 Foolish Burial, 1 Fractal. Fractal's an interesting one because I feel as though you could up this number to 2 or 3, and it does so much for you because when you get into how you play through Droll, this basically doesn't need you to have another monster in your hand to play through Droll, so it's very cool. But the thing is though, it only really pairs well with the Silver Hound, so drawing it later in the game kind of sucks, or if you draw it in multiples, it's just a bit iffy. So one seems to be working. I might experiment with more as things go along, but for now, this is it. And then 3 Tanky, which is both for starting your plays and for extending your plays. So the cool thing about this deck is that almost all of your starters except Goleo can be used as both a starter and an extender. And you'll see as we get into the combos. Other than that, we're playing about, what is this, 2, 4, 6, 7 pseudo extenders. Now obviously Wolf is used to Miracle Fusion, Tiger, situational extender that summons from grave, Black Sheep, it searches polymerization, which kinda can be used to extend through the 2 things depending on what you have in hand and if you need a fusion summon after getting impermed or something like that. Martin, same thing, it's a very situational extender, but it's good, it has its applications, mainly used as a combo piece. And then of course Perfume, which does the same thing as Tiger, except it has the benefit of being able to search when it's in the graveyard, and it doesn't negate the Thing on Field's effect. Now, it's very good because I think a lot of your combos you'll see, a lot of times when you're playing this deck in practice, when you get stymied, this kind of helps you. So there is an argument to play 3, but at 40 you're not really going to need it, and it can be a bit iffy to drawing multiples. Like drawing 1 and then searching another one, great, but if you have 2, it's basically just then a free discard, which argues that you can play anything else. Then beyond that, I think you can call them your combo pieces. They aren't exactly bricky because they have application if you draw them with other cards, but 2 Collider Chick, this is the thing that does not have a hard one's return, and it just basically allows you to send everything from your deck and extra deck to the graveyard for your fusion summons. It also has a neat little effect where if it's banished, your opponent can't activate anything during the battle phase. So this is one of the ways in which you can kind of cheat out an OTK. Sometimes you'll do something kind of whack by using SP Little Knight to banish your own Collider Chick from grave so that your Liger can attack directly uninterrupted. Yeah, so neat little spoiler, I'll show you the combo so that you guys can know for sure, but Liger is unaffected by basically everything that is a Lunalight monster, but that isn't a Lunalight card. And SP is a card that says monsters you control cannot attack, so it affects the card, your monsters, not the player. So because Liger is unaffected, it can attack directly. But anyway, moving on, we're playing Silverhound. This is the one that is your spell trap negate. It also allows you to special summon from the deck when it's sent to the graveyard by card effect. You play 2 because it's never good to draw. Well, it's not bad to draw, but sometimes you draw it and then you have it plus Masquerade without a dedicated slot, and it's not too much you can do. So you have to play 2 in case you draw it. Polymerization, obviously it's part of your combo. Lunalight Fusion, this is like the second copy of Polymerization, but it has application when going second because it can be used to fusion summon using one monster from your extra deck or deck if your opponent has something from the extra deck. So it's important to note that a lot of people will just use this to fusion summon using one thing from the extra deck, but you can use this in sort of weird scenarios to fusion summon from your deck, well, using a material from the deck, and most of the time you'll be sending something like a Silver Hound or a Martin to get to proc the effect and then combo your plays further in lines where you can't make a Liger. Emerald Bird, people argue that this is probably the most cuttable thing. It is not. You absolutely need this, and you'll see when we start getting into the 2-card combos and just how much it allows you to extend your plays, especially when you get hand trapped. Like sometimes you can just use this as kind of a pseudo extender by drop pitching it off of Masquerade and then you summon something from your grave. You can do the same thing with Foolish Burial. So yeah, it's got its uses. You cannot cut it. Then for 15 on engine, like I said, we were playing that much. I'm playing 3/4 because you have to. I mean, any deck is playing 3/4 and you kind of need to know why. Ash Blossom is a bit weird because it doesn't do too much. Like the argument I started off by talking about Imperm being somewhat lackluster, Ash Blossom is also kind of lackluster. But you do need it because for a couple of reasons. Like this card is very versatile obviously, but you need it for Mitsurugi. It can be used to stymie their plays, and it can be used to stop Charmies. But most importantly, sometimes you go for the line that ends on Baguska, SP, and Liger. And you can use the Ash Blossom to turn off someone else's Book of Eclipse to keep your Baguska alive. So it's a very defensive card in my opinion, but you kind of need it. Book of Eclipse is because it's just generically one of the best breakers of the format right now, but apart from that, it can be used to protect your Goldio from Imperm to allow you to extend your plays further. Then I'm playing 3 Thrust because we're still kind of in a turn 0 format. I wouldn't say as much as we were a few months ago. So obviously there is still K9 that's prevalent and decks like Dracotail. So playing this in the main obviously does have its uses because we can use it to fetch Thrust. So using this against K9 is almost a must because if they use, the Shark to suck the Collider Chick as material, there's not too much you can do. But if you have Thrust, you can sort of preemptively stop them by using talents to take. So it's very good. You obviously need it. And then we are playing the one defensive target or offensive target. Is if your opponent uses like a hand trap without summoning anything from the field, you can then thrust into Blackout Laugh so that you have more follow-up during their turn. We can also use this to kind of play through Bastiles. It's very niche, it does come up, but yeah, it's great at 3. It also ties in everything in our side deck. And then I'm only playing 1 heavy poly because I only own 1 in paper, and playing 3 thrust kind of balances the numbers. If you have more, you can probably argue cutting this to 2 and then play 2 heavy poly. Completely up to you, whatever works for you and what you have access to. In the extra deck, I am playing somewhat of a condensed Lunalight package. So I'm playing 2 Liger, 2 Leo, 1 Saber Dancer. This is the one that increases the Lunalight monster's attack by 3000 by banishing from the graveyard. 1 Panther Dancer. It doesn't really do too much. We generally cannot hard make this, but you can sometimes in corner scenarios use Lunalight Fusion, and if you only have 2 monsters in your hand, fuse them away, fuse this away, and summon out a Leo Dancer, which does quite a bit. Same with Heavy Poly. Like sometimes you don't have a monster, but you can resolve the Heavy Poly, and you would then send 3 from the extra deck to summon out this instead. You cannot send 4 to make a Liger Dancer. You do not have enough LP. And then of course the 2 Perfume Dancer, generally 1 for starting off your plays and then 1 for follow-up if you need it. If you don't need it, you can just pitch it to the graveyard with Liger to nuke the field. In terms of Exceeds, I am playing the 3 that you have to play. This is combo extender, and sometimes it's removal because it has like a Dark Rule like effect where you detach and then turn off the effects of all monsters that are not Beast Warrior. So it's good when going second, good when first. Baguska, it's part of your end board in some combos. And then Dugaris is how you play through Interruption. As for links, I'm playing SB, Cross Sheep, and Almirage. These three are standard in any list, but what isn't is IP, which I am playing because it does reinforce your board when you are forced to play through a Droll. You'll notice that I'm not playing M7, it's obviously great, but playing it you do need to play 3 copies of Perfume Dancer in my opinion, and I feel as though it only really helps you end on crazy boards in scenarios where you're already winning. I'll obviously show you how to combo with the M7 in case you decide to play it, but I feel it's unnecessary, so I've decided to play IP instead to kind of help me in scenarios where I would otherwise lose, if that makes sense. In the side deck, I've got 5 going first options. Usually I'm only siding in 4 of these. So Anti-Spell, Call By, and Solemn Judgment always going in place of the 4 loss when going first. And then I will side out to the heavy poly for either Sanctum if I'm playing against something like Lunalight or Malice, or Mission of the Gnomes if I'm playing against something like Mitsurugi. Sometimes you can keep the heavy poly in if you're playing against something that's using like K9s or something, because you can technically use it to fuse. You'll just need to get a good read of things, but generally this is what I do. And then obviously we're playing 3 Lancea, 3 Droll Lines because they are still the format premium silver bullets. Droll has a lot of application against so many decks, and Lancea you unfortunately have to play because otherwise you're going to get caught off guard by things like Malice that people are still playing for some reason. And it does put in a lot of work against Lunalight, so we can combo through it, but most of the time we're just entering on 1 Liger. So yes, it is good to play against the mirror match, and just something that you need to keep in mind as well, that if someone, you will be catching strays if people decide to side this for Malice and they haven't decided in for you. Then I'm playing 4 Boric Breakers, 2 Dark Ruler, and 2 Evenly Match, which we can get off Thrust. Sometimes a lot of people will say this prevents you from OTKing, but most of the time if you can simplify the game state by sort of clearing your opponent's board and still end on a Liger, it is very difficult for them to come back. But with that out of the way, let's take a look at the combos. For those of you who know anything about Lunalight, you know that this deck is famous for ending on a Baguska, an SB, a Liger Dancer, plus a Spell Trap Negate from the grave. Now to go about this main combo, you just need to open up Goleo. Now, if you guys have been following my channel, you know that it's not a combo that I generally end on a lot, for the reason that it doesn't exactly play through Droll. In fact, it loses to Droll pretty harshly. But there are some benefits to going about it. For example, while it doesn't play through Droll, it leads to a line that plays through Lancea, and it has some application against some other things as well. Nevertheless, it is something that is very powerful, so it is something that you should know how to go about, and this is how you do it. So you'd start off by normal summoning Goleo, and you'd use her effect to add Yellow Marten and then discard the Yellow Marten. This will trigger Yellow Marten's grave effect, which will add a Lunalight spell trap from deck to hand. So we're going for Masquerade. With Masquerade in hand, we can activate it and now use its effect to send Silverhound from deck to the graveyard. But yeah, this is exactly what I was talking about, how it loses to Droll, is because after the gold you add, you then have to discard. You will be chain link 1 to activate Yellow Marten's effect, and your opponent will then be given the opportunity to activate Droll chain link 2, which would then stop the Yellow Marten search, and you would basically have just normal summoned Goleo and pass turn. Okay, so but from here, our opponent obviously didn't have Droll, so we're going to use the grave effect of Silverhound that we pitched off the Masquerade. And we're using it to summon Collider Chick. Use Collider Chick's effect to send Black Sheep to grave. We're then going to activate the effect of Goleo to add the Black Sheep back to hand, and then we're going to use Black Sheep's effect to search for polymerization. From here, you want to activate polymerization to fuse away your monsters on field to summon out a Perfume Dancer. From here, you want to activate Masquerade as chain link 1 and Perfume as chain link 2. So Masquerade is going to add from grave to hand, and then we're going to give it an opportunity to discard. If we discard, we can fusion from grave. And Perfume is going to search Perfume. So the reason why we do this is so that we can have something in hand to discard for Masquerade. So the channel resolve will add Perfume to hand, and then Masquerade will add the polymerization from grave to hand. We then given the opportunity to discard something, and we will be discarding the Perfume. From here, you want to activate Perfume Dancer's effect to add Masquerade to your hand so that we have something to discard off the Perfume. So we'll use Perfume, pitch in the Masquerade to add Tiger to hand. Activate Tiger, and then use Tiger's effect to summon back out Collider Chick. you want to use Collider Chick's effect to send Leo Dancer from extra deck to grave. From here, you want to link summon into an SP. We're not using the effect, and then we're going to use the grave effect of Yellow Marten to add Tiger to hand, essentially resetting the effect because it's a soft once per turn. So we can activate Tiger again, and we will use its effect to summon back out Collider Chick. With Collider on field, we can now activate its effect to send another Lunalight name. So from here, you can either send, I'd recommend either sending a Goldeo or a Black Sheep. I think since we have multiple copies of Goldeo, it's safest to send the Goldeo. Then you want to overlay into Baguska. And then finally activate Polymerization to fusion summon Liger Dancer. So we obviously don't need Masquerade to be on the field to resolve this effect, we just needed to have activated Masquerade's effect at some point during the turn. So banish both your Ligers, both your Leos, the third Leo Dancer, and the Black Sheep to summon out Liger. And from here, like I said, you have an SP, you have Baguska, you have Liger, and you have the grave effect of Silverhound, which is alive because we contain a Perfume Dancer. So if you've been following my channel, you know that I generally end on a line that ends on 2 Ligers, an IP, a body, and a Silverhound engraved that can be activated once you use one of your Liger's nukes. I generally do not end on the line that ends on Baguska, SP, Liger, the Silverhound, because like I said, it plays into Droll, and I'd rather play around Droll as best as possible, and also find that it's very difficult for your opponent to out 2 Ligers, since both of the effects can be activated in the same turn. It's a soft once per turn. So anyway, to go about this combo, you'd normal summon Goldeo, you'd activate her effect, and in this case you want to grab Silverhound directly instead of Yellow Marten. On Rage, you're going to discard the Silverhound and you're going to use her effect to summon out Kaleido Chick. With Kaleido Chick on field, you can now use her Ignition effect to send Black Sheep to grave. Now you will use Goldeo's effect to add Black Sheep to hand. Activate Black Sheep, and you want to search for Polymerization. Activating Polymerization to fusion summon out Perfume Dancer. With Perfume in the field, you want to activate her effect as Chainlink 1, and then the effect of Kaleido Chick as Chainlink 2. Kaleido is going to target the Polymerization and add that back to hand. And then of course, you're going to add Perfume to hand. Activate Perfume to summon back out the Kaleido Chick. And you want to use her effect to send a Leo Dancer to grave. Activate the effect of Perfume Dancer to reset Kaleido Chick's effect. And then you can you should be activating Kaleido Chick's effect again. Here you kind of need to get a bit of a read on your opponent. If you suspect your opponent has Ghost Belle in hand, you'll want to send Yellow Marten to grave because this can be used to reset the effect of Wolf, which will be used later, should our opponent negate the Wolf. However, if you suspect they have a Bastille, you would go for the Leo Dancer. However, it can be argued that if they had a Bastille, they would have used it on Goldeo's add back effect when you would add the Black Sheep back to hand. So from here, it's probably safer to send the Yellow Marten. So send the Yellow Marten, and then you want to use the grave effect of Perfume to discard the Polymerization that you added to hand to search for Wolf. You want to link off into Cross Sheep, and then activate Wolves into one of your Pendulum Scales. Ignition effect, use its effect to fusion out a Liger Dancer. You want to go 1 Perfume, 1 Leo Dancer, 1 Goldeo, and 1 Black Sheep. This does turn off your Spell Trap negate until you get another fusion engraved, but from here you should be fine. You're going to activate Cross Sheep's effect to summon back out Kaleido Chick. And you want to use her effect now to send the second copy of Leo Dancer to the grave. If you had sent Leo Dancer first, you would now send your Yellow Marten to grave. Activate the effect of Yellow Marten to reset the effect of Wolf by summoning herself to your side of the field. From here, you want to overlay into Tiger King. And then on summon effect, you want to use it to set Tenki. Activate Tenki to search for, I believe it's Tiger. Yeah, you're going to add Tiger to hand. From here, something strange, but you want to activate Tiger King's effect, detaching the Collider check to turn off your cross sheep. We just want this back in grave. Then you'll activate Tiger, and then you'll use Tiger's effect to summon the Collider check from grave. From here, you can use Collider check's effect again to send something else from your deck collector deck to the graveyard. And you will want to link summon into an IP. Wolf is not a once per turn, so you can activate it again and then use its effect to fusion summon. And you'll go for the second Liger Dancer. You want to banish Leo Dancer, Gold Leo, Kaleido, and Yellow Marten. So let's follow up. You basically put everything on the board, but most of the time your opponent is not cracking this field. So like I said, we have an IP that can go into an SPA quick effect. We've got 2 Ragekis thanks to the 2 Liger Dancers. They're both unaffected. And after we resolve one of the effects, the Silverhound engraved becomes alive. While I generally don't recommend doing it because Tanky as a 1-card starter can play very hard into Droll, especially if you search into your Gold Leo. Assuming you're able to dodge the Droll, it does get you full combo, so this is how you'd go about it. So you'd activate the Tanky, and you'd use it to search for a Beast Warrior. We're going for Gold Leo. From here, you'd normal summon Gold Leo, and you'd activate her effect. So now you should be asking yourself, should you be going for the Yellow Marten or the Silverhound? I showed you both those combos just now, but yeah, that should be the thoughts that are going through your mind. Well, generally speaking, if you don't know what your opponent is on, and you have to use Tanky to start, you're going to go for Yellow Marten because you should have, at this point, passed the Droll check. So you want to go for the line that ends on Baguska, Liger, SP plus Silverhound. So I'm going to be showing you that. However, if you do have knowledge, like assuming this is a game 2 or 3 and you know what deck your opponent's playing, you can then go for the other one. So I would generally go for Silverhound if I know my opponent is on Draco Tail, because they have a hard enough time out in 1 Liger, let alone 2, and they can make pretty quick use of, well, get out of Baguska pretty quickly, so not much point going for that. So we'll be going for the Yellow Marten, considering we're assuming our opponent doesn't know how to, or we're assuming we don't know what our opponent is on. The line does differ if you do go for Silverhound, so I'll be showing you how to do that after this. So yeah, you'll be adding the Yellow Marten and you're pitching it. You'll want to activate Yellow Marten's effect, and you want to add Masquerade to end. Activate Masquerade, use its effect to now send Silverhound to the graveyard, and then you want to activate the grave effect of Silverhound. This will be, your target choice will almost always be Collider Check. So you'll be summoning Collider Check to your side of the field, activating its effect, and you want to send Black Sheep to the graveyard and then use Gold Leo's effect to add it back to hand. So yeah, you'll use Gold Leo's effect and you'll add the Black Sheep to hand. Activate Black Sheep's effect and you want to add Polymerization to hand. Activate Polymerization to fusion to Perfume Dancer using your 2 bodies on field. Like before, chain link 1 Masquerade, chain link 2 Perfume Dancer. And then just like before, once you add Poly to hand, you want to send the Perfume to grave. From here, you want to activate the effect of Perfume Dancer to add Masquerade back to hand. And then activate the grave effect of Perfume, getting rid of the Masquerade, to add Tiger to hand. Activate Tiger. Use its effect to summon back out Collider Check. Activate Collider Check's effect. Send a Leo Dancer. Link summon into an SP. Activate the effect of Yellow Marten. Activate Tiger again. Using its effect to summon out the Collider from grave again. Use Collider's effect. Overlay into Baguska. And then activate Poly to summon out your Liger. Banishing Gold Leo, Leo, Gold Leo, and Black Sheep. So showing the combo again, except when we go for Silverhound, you'll be activating Tanky. And of course, you'll be searching for Gold Leo. You'll normal summon Golio, using her effect to pitch, or to add and then pitch the Silverhound. Silverhound's effect is going to activate. And you will be going for Collider check. Activate Collider's effect. And you want to send Black Sheep to grave. Use Golio's effect. Activate Black Sheep to add polymerization to hand. Use polymerization. Fusion summon out your Perfume Dancer. We're gonna activate the effect of Perfume Dancer and the effect of Collider check. To add our good friend Lunalight Perfume. You can activate Perfume to summon back your Collider check. Activate Collider check's effect. Send in Leo to the graveyard. And then reset with the Perfume Dancer. With on field, you'll activate the effect again. You're gonna go for Yellow Martin, because you're assuming you've already passed the Bastille check. From here, you're gonna link summon off into a Crush Heap. Activate the Grave effect of Lunalight Perfume to add Wolf. Activate Wolf. And you want to use Wolf's effect to fusion summon out Liger. You're going to be going Perfume Dancer, Leo, Gold Leo, and Black Sheep. To one of the zones the Crush Sheep points to, and then you'll activate Crush Sheep's effect to summon out Collider check. You'll use Collider check's effect to send the second Leo Dancer. Activate the effect of Yellow Martin. And then from here you want to overlay into Dugaris. So this is where the line changes a bit because we've already activated the Tenki. So we'll use Dugaris' effect, detaching the two. The main reason we're doing this is to put the Collider check and the Yellow Martin back into the grave without banishing it. So we'll special summon one from grave and we'll be going for Collider check. Activate Collider check's effect again to send the Golio. Special summon out IP. And from here you can activate Wolf. Activate Wolf's effect. And you can end on a Liger Dancer by banishing Leo, Gold Leo, Collider check, and Yellow Martin. So it's the same combo I showed you in the beginning, or towards the beginning, because we still have the Silverhound that we can then use to negate a spell trap after we've used a Liger's effect. Where things differ is though, because we've used Dugaris' effect to summon one from grave, we don't have a main phase 1. Now this is fine because we have more than lethal on field, but just remember to not, commit to any illegal plays by going to main phase 1. You go in straight to battle phase, nuking the board and attacking for game. Assuming you want to end on the same board without giving up your main phase, you can end on the same board by giving up your draw phase instead. So this is how you would go about that instead. So you'll be activating Tenki, you'll be using Tenki's effect to add Golio. Again, I generally don't recommend adding Golio, but assuming you do and you don't get rolled, this is how you'd combo off. You would activate Golio's effect, and we're adding Yellow Martin to hand. Pitching the Martin, and then using its effect to add Masquerade. Activate Masquerade. Use Masquerade's effect to send Silverhound. Using Silverhound's effect to summon a Kaleido. Use Kaleido's effect to send a Black Sheep. Activate the effect of Golio to add Black Sheep back to hand. Pitch Black Sheep. And we're going to add Polymerization from deck to hand. Activate Polymerization. want to go into Perfume Dancer. And then chain link 1 Perfume Dancer, chain link 2 Kaleido Check. And we'll add Perfume to hand. Activate Perfume. Summon back out the Kaleido. Activate Kaleido Check's effect to send Leo. Activate the effect of Perfume Dancer to summon it back to your side of the field, resetting the effect. Activate the effect again, and you want to send a second Leo Dancer. From here, you will want to activate the Grave effect of Perfume, pitch in the polymerization we added to hand to search for Wolf. Link summon into Crush Heap, and then activate the Wolf, and then use Wolf's Ignition effect to fusion. So we're going into Liga, we're banishing Perfume Dancer, Leo Dancer, Gold Leo, Black Sheep. Activate Crush Sheep as chaining 1 and Masquerade as chaining 2. This just chain blocks. It also gets us poly back to hand. No, we're not discarding anything, and we'll be summoning back out Kaleido Check. You can use Kaleido Check's effect again. Again, we're just pitching something to get in the graveyard. Activate the Grave effect of Yellow Marten to return Wolf to our hand and summon herself to our side of the field. From here, you'll go into Dugaris and then use its effect to draw 2 and discard 1. So yeah, it doesn't really matter what we're sending off because again, we're assuming this, we don't know what we're drawing. It's just, you know, the point of the combo. So I'll be sending the Masquerade, but in the situation, you probably want to send the Goldio just so that you have more Lunalights in graveyard. From here, you can link summon into an SP and use Wolf's effect to fusion summon. We're going for the second Liga. We'll be banishing Leo, Gold Leo, Kaleido, and Yellow Marten. So we don't have the IP, but we still have the double Liga, the SP, and then after we've used the Liga's effect, we can use the Grave effect of Silverhound, and we only skip our draw phase, so we can play almost as normal. If you find yourself in a rare situation where you want to play around Lancea, but not Droll, and you want to end on 2 Ligas as opposed to Liga, Baguska, and SP, this is how you go about that. So you'd start off by normal summoning Gold Leo, and you'd use Gold Leo's effect to, in this case, add Yellow Marten and send her to the graveyard. So we'll be using Marten's effect from grave to add Masquerade. With Masquerade in hand, we can now activate it and use the Ignition effect to send Silverhound from deck to grave. With Silverhound in grave, we can trigger its effect and summon out Kaleido Check. Kaleido hit the field, and now we can use the Ignition effect to send Black Sheep to the graveyard, and then use Gold Leo's effect to add Black Sheep to hand. Activate Black Sheep to search for polymerization. Activate polymerization. And you want to go for Perfume Dance as always. Chain link 1 Perfume Dancer and chain link 2 Kaleido Check. We don't need to use the Masquerade early because we'll be using it to chain block our Crush Heap in just a second. So we'll be adding the polymerization to hand, and we'll be adding Perfume from deck to hand. Activate Perfume, and you want to summon back our Kaleido Check. Activate her effect, and you want to send Leo Dancer, and then use the effect of Perfume Dancer to reset herself. So Kaleido will hit the field, and from here you want to activate Kaleido, and it's going to sound a bit weird, but you're going to send Panther Dancer for 2 reasons. It's so that we have a spell and trap, it's so we have a fusion in grave to negate a spell and trap with Silverhound, but it's also, should our opponent interrupt us by messing with our graveyard, we can still end on a Leo Dancer at least. So we'll be sending Panther Dancer to the grave. And from here, before we commit to any links, you want to activate Perfume's effect, pitch in the polymerization to add Wolf to hand. Here you want to link summon into Cross Sheep. And now activate Wolf. Using Wolf's effect to fusion summon into Liger. So we'll go Perfume Dancer, Leo Dancer, Gold Leo, and Black Sheep. Summon it to one of the zones Cross Sheep points to, and then chain link 1 Cross Sheep to summon from Grave, and then chain link 2 Masquerade to chain block. So we get to the polymerization to hand. We're obviously not discarding it because we don't have anything else in hand. But of course, if you do, then you are welcome to do so. It just helps insulate your plays a bit better should you get interrupted. But in the one card combo, you were kind of showing things off in a vacuum. So we do not have anything else in hand. We'll then use Kalyachik's effect to send the second copy of Leo Dancer to the graveyard. And you will use the grave effect of Yellow Marten to add Wolf to hand and summon herself to the field. From here, you want to go into Tiger King. And on summon, use the effect to set Tenki. Activate the effect of Tiger King, detaching Kaleidochick to turn off Cross Sheep. You will then activate Tenki, using its effect to search for Tiger. You'll activate Tiger, using her effect to summon back out Kaleidochick. You'll use Kaleido again. You can send Gold Leo or Black Sheep. And then you want to link summon into IP. Before activating Wolf and using Wolf's effect to fusion summon out the second copy of Liger. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, and 4. So it looks like our standard end board. What's different is that we have polymerization in hand, and our Silverhound is live before we activate one of our Liger Dancer's effect. We also have the benefit of having Masquerade in the field, so we are able to recycle this if we need it. But at this point, we've basically used all of our fusion monsters. We basically just have 2 targets in the extra deck, and these will be to use our Liger Dancer's effects during our opponent's turn. So your Masquerade combo requires you to open Masquerade, and it does need a discard. So to fill the place of the discard, we have the Thrust, but yeah, it can be any card. Better if it's a monster because it helps you play around Droll. A lot better, but if it's not too much of a train smash. So activate Masquerade. You'll use its ignition effect to send Silverhound to grave. Silverhound's effect will activate. In this case, you want to summon out Gold Leo instead of Kaleidochick. So you'll use Gold Leo's effect, and you want to add Kaleido to hand while pitching your discard. You'll normal summon Kaleidochick and use her effect to send Black Sheep. You'll then use Gold Leo's effect to add Black Sheep to hand, and then you want to activate Black Sheep's effect. So something you want to know about here is that if you get interrupted, you can't exactly do too much because you are Lunalight locked so long as you control the Gold Leo that are summoned off of Silverhound. So you'll activate the polymerization, and you want to go for Perfume Dancer. You want to activate Perfume Dancer chaining 1 and Kaleidochick as chaining 2. This will obviously add your Perfume. You'll activate Perfume to summon back out Kaleidochick. And then you want to use Kaleidochick's effect to send Leo, and then the effect of Perfume Dancer to reset Kaleidochick. You'll use Kaleido again, and this time you want to send Yellow Marten. Activate the grave effect of Perfume to add Wolf. Link summon into Cross Sheep. Activate Wolf. Use Wolf's effect to go into Liger. Banish in Perfume Dancer, Leo Dancer, Gold Leo, Black Sheep. We can chain block here by going chain link 1 Cross Sheep and then chain link 2 Masquerade. Use Collider Tricks effect again. Send Layered Answer. Activate the Grave effect of Yellow Marten to return Wolf, summoning herself. And then you want to go into a Tiger King. Using the on summon effect to set Tenki. Activate Tenki. And use its effect to search for Tiger. Activate Tiger King, detaching Collider Trick. Activate Tiger. Use Tiger's effect. Use the effect of Kaleido again. Link into an IP. And fusion summon out your second Liger. Like before, we have to use one of the Liger's effects to make the Silverhound live. So Foolish Burial is probably your best 1.5 card starter because you can use it to send Yellow Marten to grave. So you'll activate it, and like I said, you'll be sending Yellow Marten to grave. Marten's effect will activate to add Masquerade to hand. So from here, you're still good, so you'll activate Masquerade. You'll use Masquerade's effect, and you want to now send Silverhound to grave. Now, of course, this doesn't play around Droll all too well, but again, we're assuming our opponent doesn't have it, and I will be showing you how to play through Droll a bit later. Like, there's an 18-minute segment of this video just to that, so yeah, it's fine. We have all the ways of beating Droll, so like, let's know what we can do if we don't get Droll. So we'll activate Golio's effect, and you want to add Collider to hand. Pitch in the Thrust. Normal summon Kaleido. Activate her effect to send Black Sheep. Golio to add Black Sheep. And then Black Sheep to search Polly. Activate Polly to fusion Perfume Dancer. And search Perfume. So Chainlink 1 to search Perfume and Chainlink 2 to add Polymerization from grave. Activate Perfume to summon back out Kaleido. Doesn't matter to which zone. And you'll activate Kaleido's effect to send Leo Dancer. Reset the effect with Perfume Dancer. And use its effect again to send a second copy, since we already have the Yellow Marten in grave. From here, you want to activate the effect of Perfume by pitching the Polymerization in your hand to add Wolf. If your opponent negates the Perfume, you can then link someone into an SP using your 2 bodies on the field, and then you have SP plus a Spell Trap negate. Go into Crush Heap. Activate Wolf. Use Wolf's effect to summon out Liger. So we're going to go Perfume Dancer, Leo Dancer, Golio, and Black Sheep, the usual 4. Activate the effect of Crush Heap as Chainlink 1 and the effect of Masquerade as Chainlink 2. So it adds Polymerization to a hand, we're not discarding, and we're summoning back out Collider Check. Activate Collider Check's effect, and you want to send Panther Dancer. Again, Panther Dancer is basically dead now, so we can get into the grave to make sure that our Silverhound is online early. Now, the trade-off to doing this is, of course, that we have fewer Liger bullets, because, like, you know, Liger obviously has to send 1 from Extract to grave, but normally 2 nukes is more than enough to end the game. And from here, you want to go into Tiger King. On-field effect, set Tenki. Use your Tenki to search for Tiger. The effect of Tiger King, pitch in your Collider Check. Activate Tiger. Activate Tiger to summon out Collider Check. use the effect to send another Lunalight name from deck to graveyard. Go into your IP, activate Wolf, and fusion the second Liger. So we'll go Liger, we'll be banishing Martin, Kaleido Chick, Gold Leo, and Leo Dancer. So the difference between Masquerade and Foolish Burial is that Foolish Burial does get us the Silverhound online without first needing to use Liger Dancer. Assuming you want to play around Droll, Foolish Burial also has a line that does so. So we'll be activating Foolish Burial, and this time we're not going for the Yellow Martin. We'll be, oh my gosh, we'll be sending the Silverhound. Silverhound's effect will activate, and you want to go for Gold Leo. Leo's effect will activate. You want to go for Kaleido Check, and you want to then discard whatever you have in hand. At this point, your opponent would Droll. If they do, you have a line through it. You'll see later. But now they don't, so we'll normal summon Kaleido Check. We'll use Kaleido Check's effect to send Black Sheep, Gold Leo to add Black Sheep back. Activate Black Sheep, search Poly. Activate Poly, and you want to go for Perfume Dancer. Perfume Dancer's effect chaining 1, and then Kaleido chaining 2. And you'll grab Perfume. Activate Perfume to summon back out Kaleido Chick. And you can then use her effect to send Leo to grave, and then the effect of Perfume Dancer to reset Kaleido. Like most of the other times, you want to use its effect then to send Yellow Martin. Again, we're playing around Belle now because we've already passed the Droll check. Not the Droll check, the Bastille check. Again, like a good player, you'll activate Perfume first, discarding the polymerization to add Wolf to hand. Again, if your opponent negates the Perfume, you can then link it to an IP, and you'll have the IP plus the Silverhound during their turn. They didn't, so we can go into Crush Heap. We'll activate Wolf. Use Wolf's effect to fusion. Going into Liger. So we want to go for the usual 4, Perfume Dancer, Leo Dancer, Gold Leo, and Black Sheep. Activate the effect of Crush Heap to summon out Kaleido Check. Kaleido's effect to send the second copy of Leo Dancer, and then the grave effect of Yellow Martin. Summoning herself to our side of the field. We will go into Tiger King and activate the unsummon effect to set Tenki. Use Tenki to add Tiger, and then activate the effect of Tiger King, pitching the Kaleido. Activate Tiger. Tiger's effect. And then activate Kaleido Check's effect to send another Lunalight name. Go into IP. Activate Wolf. And then use Wolf's effect to fusion summon your second Liger. Okay, so this line plays around Droll a lot better. The trade-off, unfortunately, though, is that we do not have a polymerization in hand, and we have to first use one of the Ligers to make our Silverhound live. Fractal plus a discard is also full combo, so you'd activate Fractal, and because Fractal lets you only send level 3 or lower, you cannot send Yellow Martin. So for this, you have to send Silverhound. So we'll send Silverhound, and we will use her effect to summon out Gold Leo. With Gold Leo on our field, we'll activate her effect on summon to add Kaleido Check. You will then have to discard the discard in your hand and normal summon the Kaleido Check. You'll use Kaleido to send Black Sheep, and then use Goldio's effect to add the black sheep back to hand. Activate black sheep to add polymerization. And of course, once you have polymerization in hand, you want to activate it to summon out Perfume Dancer. You'll activate Perfume Dancer chaining 1 and the grave effect of Kaleido Check is chaining 2. Okay, Perfume Dancer will add Perfume. Use Perfume to summon out Kaleido Check. Activate Kaleido Check's effect to send Leo Dancer. And then reset with Perfume Dancer. Use the effect to send Yellow Marten. And then, like a good player, you'll activate Perfume from here, pitch in the polymerization to add Wolf to hand. Go into IP. You want to go to Cross Sheep. And then from here, you'll activate Wolf. Activate Wolf's effect to summon out Liger Dancer. So send in the usual 4 and Black Sheep. Activate the effect of Cross Sheep to summon out Kaleido. Activate Kaleido to send Leo Dancer. And then grave effect of Yellow Marten. Overlay into Tiger King. Use the on summon effect to set Tenki. And then activate Tenki to add Tiger. Use the effect of Tiger King, detach in Kaleido Check. Activate Tiger. Use Tiger's effect to summon back out the Kaleido Check. And then you want to use Kaleido Check's effect again to send a Lunalight name. From here, link into IP. Activate Wolf. And fusion into your second Liger. So by now you should be asking why I generally always go for this board, and I think by now I've said it enough, but because these lines generally lead to lines that play through Droll. So I'll be showing you an alternative end board after I show you how to play through Droll, but for now, this is what you should kind of be going for most of the time, just because, like I said, you place the Droll and you don't want to lose the Silver Bullet. So to perform your strongest 2-card combo, you'll need Goldeo plus a level 4 Lunalight in hand. So for the purpose of demonstrating, we've got 2 Goldeo. But yeah, it can be any other level 4, provided that the other level 4 isn't your Yellow Marten. So we'll then use the effect of Goldeo, and we want to play around Droll like a good player, so we'll go for Silver Hound. And if we get Droll, we still have plays. If we don't, we go full combo. So then we'll activate Silver Hound to summon out Kaleido Check. Use Kaleido Check's effect to send Black Sheep. Goldeo to add Black Sheep. And then Black Sheep to search for polymerization. Activate Poly to go into Perfume Dancer. Chaining 1 Perfume Dancer, chaining 2 Kaleido to add polymerization back. And then of course, Lunalight Perfume. Activate Perfume to summon back our Kaleido Check. Use Kaleido Check's effect to send Leo Dancer. And then the effect of Perfume Dancer to reset. Use her effect to send Yellow Marten. Grave effect of Perfume, pitch in the polymerization we added to hand. For Wolf. Go into Cross Sheep. Activate Wolf. Wolf's effect to fusion. We'll go the usual 4. unsummon Cross Sheep's effect to summon out Kaleido Check. Use Kaleido's effect to send the second Leo Dancer to grave. Use the grave effect of Yellow Marten to reset Wolf. And then go into Tiger King. Using the unsummon effect to set Tenki. Activate the effect of Tiger King. And then the effect of Tenki. And we will add Tiger's Hand. Activate Tiger. Using Tiger's effect to summon back out Kaleido Check. Use Kaleido Check's effect to send a Lunalight name. And then you want to link into SP using Tiger King and Cross Sheep. Activate Wolf. Pendulum summon out Goldio or the other level 4 in hand, and then you can go into Baguska. Activate the effect of Wolf, and we're going into like a dancer. So we're going 1, 2, 3, 4. So we ended on 2 Ligers, SP plus Baguska. So you can go full combo if you open up Kaleido Check plus Lunalight Perfume. It's very specific, but it does happen. So you'll normal summon Kaleido Check, using her effect to send Goldio to grave. Activate Perfume to summon back out Goldio. And because Perfume summons without negating the effect, we can use the unsummon effect of Goldio to add Black Sheep to hand, and then discard Black Sheep. From here, you want to use Goldio's effect to add the Black Sheep back because you really want it to stay in your hand. Activate Black Sheep to add Polymerization. Activate Polymerization to go into Perfume Dancer. Chaining 1 Perfume Dancer, chaining 2 Kaleido. So Kaleido will target the Polymerization engrave and add it to hand. Activate Perfume. Summon back out Kaleido. Use its effect to send Leo Dancer. Effect of Perfume Dancer to reset Kaleido. Using Kaleido again to send Yellow Marten. Activate the grave effect of one of your perfumes. We can technically use both grave effects, but we've got limited discards. To add Wolf. Special summon out Cross Sheep. Activate Wolf. Use Wolf's effect. And Black Sheep. Activated the effect of Cross Sheep to summon back out Kaleido Check to your side of the field. Activate Kaleido Check's effect to send the second copy of Leo Dancer. Activate the effect of Yellow Marten. Go into Tiger King. Use the effect of Tiger King. Activate the effect of Tiger King, detaching Kaleido Check. Activate Tenki. Tenki search Tiger. Activate Tiger. Tiger's effect. Summon out Kaleido Check back to your side of the field. So from here, you should notice that we don't have a Silver Hound, and unfortunately that is the trade-off we have to make when going for this combo, but again, it's a minor inconvenience. So we'll use the effect of Kaleido Check to send a Lunalight name. Go into IP. Activate Wolf. And then use Wolf's effect to summon out like a dancer. Just like that, we have almost the same end board that we tend to go for. Again, we didn't draw a dedicated starter, but that's fine. This should be good enough. So this is a very specific 2-card combo that requires you to open up both of your one-offs, so both Emerald Bird and Yellow Marten. It doesn't happen too often. When it does, you'll be kind of glad that you know what to do. So you'll lead by normal summoning Emerald Bird, using its effect to pitch Yellow Marten. You'll obviously draw one because the Emerald Bird's effect, and then you'll use the Grave effect of Yellow Marten to add Masquerade to hand. You'll activate Masquerade, and then you'll use its Ignition effect to send Silverhound to grave. Silverhound's effect's gonna activate to summon out Goldeo. You'll use Goldeo's effect to add Black Sheep, and then you want to discard the card you drew off the top of the Emerald. You want to activate Black Sheep to search Polymerization, and then on res you want to use Goldeo's effect to start a new chain to add Black Sheep to hand. From here, because you're still Lunalight locked, you want to activate Yellow Marten's effect to return Goldeo to hand. You're no longer Lunalight locked. Now you'll activate Polymerization, and you want to fusion summon Perfume Dancer using the 2 names in hand. Perfume Dancer, well, there's going to be tons of trigger effects, so you want to go Chaining 1, Perfume Dancer, Chaining 2, Masquerade, and then Chaining 3, Black Sheep to add the Goldeo to hand. Masquerade will add Polymerization, and you want to use the discard effect by discarding the Goldeo or whatever you added to your hand of Black Sheep, and then you want to add Perfume to hand. With the 2 level 4s in field, you want to go into Tiger King. This is the whole reason why we added the Goldeo to hand, is because we couldn't do this otherwise because we were Lunalight locked, but now we're not. So then we'll use Tiger's effect to set Tenki. You want to activate Tenki to search for Collider Chick, because we don't have that in rotation just yet. Then you want to activate the effect of Perfume Dancer to add Masquerade to hand and special summon Kaleido to your side of the field. You can activate Collider Chick's effect to get your Leo Dancer into grave. And then from here, you want to get rid of your 2 odd levels to summon IP. You can then activate Perfume to summon back out Yellow Marten. And overlay into Baguska. Use the Grave effect of Perfume to pitch Masquerade, and you want to add Tiger to hand. Activate Tiger, and then you want to use Tiger's effect to summon out Silverhound. I know this kind of turns off your Silverhound, which is a bit unfortunate, but it's okay, because we'll get into the grave when we use IP's effect to link into SP. Then you activate Polymerization, and you want to summon out Liger Dancer using Emerald Bird, Leo Dancer, Goldeo, and Black Sheep. So just like that, very niche combo, but you have your Liger Dancer, you have your Baguska, and you can still go into SP during your opponent's turn for an additional 2 interrupts. So Nuke, Banish with SP, Banish with SP2, Floodgate effect of Baguska, and once the Silverhound is in the graveyard, you already have the Perfume Dancer in grave for the Spell and Trap negate. More realistically, you can still combo off if you open an Emerald Bird plus the Silverhound. So you lead with Emerald Bird, using its effect to pitch the Silverhound and draw 1. Silverhound's effect will activate, and you want to go for Goldeo. Goldeo's effect to add Yellow Marten from deck to hand, and then you want to pitch the Yellow Marten. Okay, so we're going to use the Grave effect of Yellow Marten to add Masquerade to hand. Activate Masquerade. Use its effect to send Black Sheep from deck to graveyard, and then use the effect of Goldeo to add Black Sheep to hand. Activate Black Sheep to add Polymerization from deck to hand. And then you want to use the Grave effect of Yellow Marten to return Goldeo to hand, so we're no longer Lunalight locked, to summon herself to your side of the field. Now you want to activate Polymerization to summon out Perfume Dancer using the Emerald Bird and the Goldeo. A couple of trigger effects, so we'll go Chain Link 1 Perfume Dancer, Chain Link 2 Masquerade, and then just the chain block, Chain Link 3 Emerald Bird. Well, we actually need the body on field, but I guess we'd safer to chain block the masquerade. So we'll add polymerization, and then we will discard the thing we drew off the top with Emerald Bird. And then of course we're adding perfume to add. Then we can go into Tiger King using the 2 level 4s on our side of the field. Tiger King's effect's going to activate, and it's going to set Tenki face down. You'll use Tenki to add Collider Chick, since we don't have that in rotation. Use the effect of Perfume Dancer to add Masquerade to hand, and summon Collider Chick to your side of the field. Use Collider Chick's effect to send a Leo Dancer, since we don't have one. And then using the odd levels on our field, we're going to go into IP. Okay, so then we can activate Perfume Dancer, well, Perfume's effect that we got of the Perfume Dancer to summon out a level 4 from the graveyard. I'd probably go for Martin, so we know that it's safe for next turn. And then you want to overlay into Baguska using your 2 level 4s. From here, you can activate the grave effect of Perfume, pitching Masquerade to add Tiger. Activate Tiger. And then you want to use Tiger's effect to summon out, I guess, Silverhound or the Perfume Dancer. It doesn't really matter which. I guess if you want to keep the Silverhound in the grave, you'd summon the Perfume Dancer. Cool. And then from here, you would activate Polymerization. And you want to summon out Liger Dancer using Goldio, Emerald Bird, Black Sheep, and Leo Dancer. And then during our opponent's turn, of course, we will then either we link off using the IP and the Perfume Dancer to go into SB, which then makes the Silverhound live, or we activate Liger Dancer's effect, send in a fusion, and then the Perfume Dancer, and then the Silverhound engrave is live. So another very specific 2-card combo that requires you to open up Foolish Burial plus Yellow Marten. So you'll activate Foolish Burial, and you want to pitch Silverhound. Use Silverhound's effect to summon out Goldio. Goldio's on summon effect to add Kaleido Chick and then pitch the Yellow Marten in hand. You're going to use Martin's Grave effect to add Masquerade. We don't need to activate the Masquerade just yet, so we'll normal summon Kaleido Chick. And then we want to use her effect to send Black Sheep to grave. Goldio will add Black Sheep back to hand. We'll use Black Sheep to search for polymerization. And activate polymerization to fusion summon out Perfume Dancer. We'll use Perfume Dancer's effect as Chainlink 1 and Kaleido Chick's effect as Chainlink 2. So Kaleido Chick's going to target and add polymerization back to hand, and then Perfume Dancer will search Perfume. We'll activate Perfume to summon back out Kaleido from grave. Use Kaleido's effect to pitch Leo Dancer. Activate the effect of Perfume Dancer to reset Kaleido. And then use its effect again to send the second copy of Leo Dancer. From here, you want to activate the grave effect of Perfume, getting rid of the polymerization to add Wolf to hand. Link summon into Cross Sheep. Activate Masquerade. And then activate the effect of Wolf. Or activate Wolf and then use Wolf's effect to fusion summon. So we're going into Liger. And we'll be banishing Perfume Dancer, Leo Dancer, Goldio, Black Sheep. Chainlink 1 Cross Sheep, Chainlink 2 Masquerade. Now you would be performing this combo generally with a 5-card hand, and if you are, you can discard something so that you can use Polymerization's effect to fuse from the graveyard should something go wrong. But we're obviously doing this in the vacuum, so we're not discarding, but that's just something to keep in mind. You'll then summon Kaleido Chick back to grave when the chain resolves. Use its effect again. We basically want to get another level 4 into the graveyard. A level 4 that isn't Emerald Bird, so we'll send another Goldio. From here, you can link summon into an SP, and then use the Grave effect of Yellow Marten, returning the wolf to hand to summon herself back to your side of the field. Now we can activate the effect of Masquerade, and we want to pitch Emerald Bird. Use Emerald Bird's effect to summon back out Kaleido, and use Kaleido Chick's effect to send another Lunalight name from deck to graveyard. Overlay into Baguska, and now activate Wolf, and use Wolf's effect to fusion summon into the second copy of Liger Dancer. So we'll use the Black Sheep, the Emerald Bird, the Gold Leo, and the Leo Dancer. So we're gonna double Liger, Baguska, SP, and then as soon as we use one of the Liger's effects, our Silverhound becomes live. So same combo, but this time we have a Fractal and a Yellow Marten. So we'll activate Fractal, and we will send Silverhound to grave. Use Silverhound to summon back, or to summon out Goleo. Goleo will search for Kaleido Chick, and discard Yellow Marten. Marten's Grave effect to search for Masquerade. Normal summon Kaleido Chick. Use its effect to send Black Sheep. Effective Goleo. Add Black Sheep back to hand. Activate Black Sheep. Add Polymerization from deck to hand. Activate Polymerization. Summon out Perfume Dancer. Chainlink 1 Perfume Dancer, Chainlink 2 Kaleido Chick. And we'll add Polymerization to hand. Activate Perfume to summon back Kaleido Chick. Use Kaleido Chick's effect to send a Leo Dancer, and then Perfume Dancer to reset the effect. Activate the effect again to send Leo Dancer, and then activate the Grave effect of Perfume, pitching Polymerization. We want Wolf. Link summon into Cross Sheep. Activate Masquerade. Activate Wolf. Wolf's effect. Summon on Liger. So we'll be going Perfume Dancer, Leo Dancer, Goleo, Black Sheep. Use Chainlink 1, Cross Sheep, and Chainlink 2, Masquerade. Like before, if we had something to discard, we can just to sort of insulate our plays a little bit better. We don't, so we're just gonna add and not discard. And some back out your Kaleido Chick. Use Kaleido to send a Lunalight level 4. And then from here we can link summon SP. Use the Grave effect of Yellow Marten to return the Wolf's hand, summoning herself. Use Masquerade to pitch Emerald Bird. Use Emerald Bird's effect to summon back out Kaleido Chick. Send another Lunalight from deck to graveyard, so we'll send Black Sheep. Overlay into Baguska, and then use the effect of Wolf to summon out our second copy of Liger. Black Sheep, Emerald Bird, Gold Leo, and Leo Dancer. So exact same endboard, we just used Fractal instead of Foolish. So this hand doesn't look like it'll need too much, but it is full combo. So basically you need Black Sheep plus Perfume and a discard. So we'll start off by activating Black Sheep's effect, pitching itself for Polymerization. From this position, you want to use Perfume to summon back the Black Sheep from grave. We'll summon in defense position just in case, and we'll use then the Grave effect of Perfume, pitching our discard to add Goleo to hand. And from this position, we will normal summon Goleo, and we'll use its effect to add You can go for either Yellow Marten or Silverhound. Let's just play around. We've already passed the draw check, right? So we'll add Yellow Marten and we'll send it to the graveyard using Marten's effect to add Masquerade to hand. Activate Masquerade, use the on-field effect, sending the Silverhound to grave. We'll then use Silverhound's effect to special summon out Collider Chick. From here, you want to activate Collider Chick's effect. And since we've already used the perfume, well, we don't really need to worry about that because it's not a hard one specific. But basically, we have options from this position because there isn't anything set in stone that we need to set to graveyard. Playing it safe, I will send Wolf and then use the effect of Goldio to add it back to hand. From here, you will need to Polymerization. Using any two of your monsters on field, it doesn't really matter. One of which has to be Collider Chick, so it does matter a little bit. And I'm just going to go for Goldio. Then I'm going to activate Perfume as Chaining 1 and Collider Chick as Chaining 2. And we'll add Perfume. We'll use Perfume to summon back out Collider Chick, using its effect to send Leo Dancer to grave. Use the effect of Perfume Dancer to reset Collider Chick, and use its effect again to send the second Leo Dancer. From here, you can activate the grave effect of Perfume, and you want to pitch Polymerization, and you can add whatever you want from your deck to hand. I'm going to go for Tiger because it's safer. And you can Link Summon. So we're going to go into Crush Heap, activate Wolf, use Wolf's effect, summon out Liger Dancer. So we'll go 1 Leo Dancer, 1 Goldio, we'll use the Black Sheep on outside of the field, and the Perfume Dancer. Activate the effect of Crush Heap, and the effect of Masquerade. Special summon back out Collider Chick. Use Collider Chick's effect again to send any Lunalight you need to the graveyard. And then you can activate the effect of Yellow Marten to summon itself. We don't have to sequence it this way, you can summon it later, because from now we are going to go into an SP. And we're not using SP's effect, we'll then use Tiger. Activate Tiger again, and we want to special summon out Collider Chick. Use Collider Chick's effect again. Either Black Sheep or Emerald Bird. Overlay into Baguska. Activate Wolf and Fusion. So we can go 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we have double Liger, SP, and Baguska on our side of the field. So if you open Masquerade, a level 4, and a discard, you can also end on the double Liger Baguska SP line. So you'll lead with Masquerade, you'll activate its effect, and you want to send Silverhound to grave. You'll use Silverhound's effect to special summon on Goldio, and then you'll use Goldio's effect on summon to add Collider Chick to hand, and then discard your discard. Again, we're assuming that the level 4 in the hand is just any level 4 Lunalight, so even though it's a Collider Chick, we're just not going to treat it as a Collider Chick, just as a level 4. Then we'll use the Collider Chick we searched for to send Black Sheep to grave. Use Goldio's effect to add Black Sheep to hand. Activate Black Sheep to add Polymerization from deck to hand. Use polymerization to fusion summon out Perfume Dancer. And then chainlink 1 Perfume Dancer, chainlink 2 Collider Chick to add polymerization from grave to hand. You'll activate Perfume and you'll use it to summon back Collider Check. Use Collider Check's effect to send Leo Dancer and then reset with Perfume Dancer. Use the effect to send Yellow Marten from deck to graveyard. Activate the grave effect of Perfume, pitch in polymerization to add Wolf to hand. Link into Crush Heap. Activate Wolf. Use Wolf's effect. And you're going to fusion summon out Liger. So we're going to go Perfume, Leo, Leo, and Black Sheep. Chainlink 1 Crush Heap, Chainlink 2 Masquerade. And you want to special summon out Collider Check. Use Collider Check's effect again to send the second Leo Dancer to grave. Use the effect of Marten, target Wolf, summon herself, overlay into Tiger King. Use the unsummon effect to set Tenki. Activate Tenki. And you want to search for Tiger. Before you activate Tiger, it's always a good habit to activate Tiger King's effect to detach the Collider Chick. Trust me, sometimes it happens where you'll activate Tiger, you'll use Tiger's effect only to realize that your Kaleido is still attached to Tiger King. So we'll activate. And we will link summon into SP. Use the effect of Tiger, special summon back Collider Chick. Use Collider Chick's effect again. Send a Lunalight name from deck to grave. Activate Wolf. Pendulum summon the level 4 from hand. Well, it has to be a level 4 Lunalight because they do say you can only pendulum summon Lunalight. I believe one of them. Which one is it? It's Wolf. Yes, Wolf says you can only pendulum summon Lunalight. And then you'll overlay into Baguska. Then activate Wolf's effect. And you want to fusion summon out like a dancer. Using the 4 names in grave. So the exact same combo, but this time we've opened up Fractal plus a Lunalight level 4 and a discard. So you'll activate Fractal and you want to send Silverhound to grave. You'll use Silverhound's effect to special summon out Goleo. You'll use Goleo's effect to summon out, or to add rather, Collider Chick, and then you want to discard your discard. Normal summon Collider Chick, use its effect, and you want to send Black Sheep. Goleo's effect to add Black Sheep. Activate Black Sheep to add polymerization. Activate polymerization using your monsters on field. Use the effect of Perfume Dancer as well as the effect of Collider Check in that order. Activate Perfume. Use the effect of Collider Check. Send in Leo. And then after you've reset, you want to send Yellow Marten. Grave effect of Perfume. For Wolf. Crush Heap. Wolf. Wolf's effect. the usual 4. Activate the effect of Crush Heap. Summon back our Kaleido check. Use Kaleido check's effect to send the second Leo Dancer. Effect of Martin. Overlay into Tiger King. Effect of Tiger King to set Tenki. Activate Tenki. Search for Tiger. Effect of Tiger King. Scale Tiger. Tiger's effect. Effect. SP. Scale. Pendulum. Overlay Babuska. Fuse for Liger. We've got options if we open Foolish Burial, a level 4 Lunalight, and a discard. So you'd activate Foolish, and from here, depending on what you want to do, you'd either send a Yellow Marten or a Silverhound. Silverhound plays around Droll a bit better. Yellow Marten is more explosive, but again doesn't play out through Droll, so respecting Droll, we will send Silverhound. You'll use Silverhound's effect to summon out Goldio. Use Goldio's effect to add Kaleido and pitch your discard. Normal Kaleido. Use Kaleido's effect to send Black Sheep. Leo, add Black Sheep. Activate Black Sheep to add Poly. Use Poly to go into Perfume Dancer, activate Perfume Dancer's effect, and Kaleido Chaining 2. Okay, from this position it's same old. We'll activate Perfume, summon out Kaleido, use Kaleido to send Leo Dancer, use the effect of Perfume Dancer to reset Kaleido, summoning Kaleido back, use the effect of Kaleido, send Martin, activate the effect of Perfume, pitch in Polymerization, and you will add Wolf. Link into Crush Heap, activate Wolf, Wolf's effect, and you're going to go 1, 2, 3, and 4. Effect of Crush Heap, summon back Kaleido check. Effect of Kaleido to send second Leo. Activate the effect of Yellow Marten. Summon out your Tiger King. Use the unsummon effect to set Tenki. Activate the effect. Use Tenki. Tiger. Activate Tiger. Go into SP. Use Tiger. Summon back out Kaleido. Kaleido effect. Scale Wolf. Pendulum. Go into Babuska. And then summon the second Liger. choosing path B, your combo becomes a little bit stronger, but like I said, it does lose to Droll. So you will activate Burial, pitch in Yellow Marten. You'll use Marten's effect to search for Masquerade. Activate Masquerade, using its effect to pitch Silverhound. Effective Silverhound to summon a Goldeo. Goldeo's effect to add Kaleido. Pitch in your discard. Normal Kaleido. Use the effect to send Black Sheep and then Goldeo to add Black Sheep. Activate Black Sheep. Add Poly to hand. Use Polymerization. Fuse into Perfume Dancer. Using the effect and the effect of Collider Check. In that order. Add Perfume to hand. Activate Perfume. Use the effect to send the Leo Dancer. Reset. Use the effect again. Activate the effect of Perfume. Pitch in Polymerization. And you want to add Wolf. Summon out Cross Sheep. Activate Wolf. Fusing into Liger. So this time we'll go for triple Leo plus Black Sheep. And then chain link one Cross Sheep, chain link two Masquerade. We won't be discarding. Summon out Kaleido. Use Kaleido's effect to send the second Leo Dancer. Effect of Yellow Marten. Overlay for Tiger King. Effect of Tiger King. Set Tenki. Tiger King's effect. Pitch in Kaleido. Special summon out SP. Activate the effect of Tenki. And use its effect to add Tiger to hand. Activate Tiger. Use the effect to summon back out Collider Check. Effective Collider Check. We'll just send another Goleo. Activate Wolf. Pendulum. Overlay for Baguska. And then fusion summon out Liger. So this combo kind of differs from what I've been showing you, because we got a Polymerization in our hand, we've got Masquerade in the field, so we can kind of cycle these, although we're not generally going to use them for the effects, mainly for discard. And we've managed to retain a Silverhound in the graveyard so that after we use Liger's effect, we have a Spell Trap negate. That's about the key difference, but the question I want to ask you guys is it worth playing into Droll for? Or risk playing into Droll for? This is a 3-card combo that requires you to have Kaleido Check, another Lunalight name, and then a way to fusion summon. So there'll be either fusion, polymerization, or Black Sheep to get polymerization. For the purpose of this, I'm just going to show you as though it is we have polymerization, but just know that these three are interchangeable. The only difference is that you would discard this for the polymerization. So I think we should lead with Kaleido Check for the reason that we need to get more names in the graveyard, right? And we can do so early by sending Marten, because that's probably the safest one. And then you want to activate polymerization to fusion into Perfume Dancer using Kaleido and the other name you had in hand. So yeah, these two cards in hand, they don't exist right now. They were just there to show you for placeholding. Then we'll chain Perfume Dancer link 1 and Collider Chick as link 2 to add the depolymerization back to hand. Of course, we're just assuming that the other Lunalighters are blanks. We won't be activating Emerald Bird's effect. So we get the polymerization, we get Perfume. Activate Perfume, and you want to summon back out Collider Chick. Use the effect of Collider Chick to send Leo Dancer to grave. From here, you want to reset the effect. Summon back the Collider Chick to your side of the field, and then use the effect again. So right now we don't have all that many names in the graveyard, so probably would not be a bad idea to send one from deck to the graveyard. One of the main monsters, I mean. Okay. Now you want to activate Perfume, discarding the polymerization that you added back to hand for Wolf. Link summon into Crush Heap. Activate Wolf and use Wolf's effect to fusion. Going into Liger, of course. So we'll use Leo Dancer, of course. The Lunalight that we sent to graveyard. The Lunalight we sent with Collider Chick on its second or third effect. And then the Perfume Dancer. We'll then activate the effect of Cross Sheep, summoning back out Collider Chick. From here you can activate Collider Chick's effect to send Leo Dancer to the graveyard. And then use the effect of Yellow Marten, returning Wolf, to summon itself back to your side of the field. From here you want to go into Tiger King and use its effect to set. From here, so that so it becomes less likely to misplay, make it a good habit of activating Tiger King's effect, detaching Collider Chick here. It can be easy to forget when you're busy doing their things that you kind of need to get the Collider in grave before you resolve the effect of Tiger. So now we will be adding Tiger to hand. And we will activate Tiger. Use Tiger's effect to summon back our Collider Chick. From here, I just want to double check my graveyard real quick. So we don't have all that many names. We need to send another one from our deck to graveyard. So we'll be using Collider Chick's effect again. And you can basically send any name that you want to from your deck to the graveyard. So I think we can just send a Silverhound because it's a bit tricky to draw by itself. And then from here, you want to link off into an IP. Activate Wolf. Use Wolf's effect to fusion summon again. And you want to go into the second Liger. So we'll be banishing the 4 names we have in graveyard. So this time, even though we ended up using more cards to end on the double Liger board, we do not have a Silverhound in grave to use as a spell trap negate. It's a bit weird, but again, if you don't have a dedicated starter, you have to roll what you draw, and this is one of the ways in which you can. So the line I'm about to show you does play through Droll, but it is a little bit controversial in that it will depend on how your judge rules on the day. But basically, to go about it, you will need just the Golio, and you'll obviously start off by normal summoning her, and then you'll use her effect to search for Silverhound. Make sure you go for Silverhound and not Yellow Marten. I know a lot of combos tell you to go for Yellow Marten, but if you do, you will be completely cooked by Droll. So you're going to add the Silverhound. On Riz, you're going to pitch the Silverhound, and you will activate Silverhound's effect in the new chain. From this point, your opponent is given a window to activate Droll, which they obviously would. And this is where a lot of people would panic, but you're still fine. So you'll use the Silverhound's effect when it resolves to summon the Collider Chick from deck. You'll activate Collider Chick's effect to send Wolf to grave, and then you'll activate Golio's effect to add the Wolf to hand. You'll activate the Wolf in your scale, activating its effect to fusion summon out Perfume Dancer using Golio and the Silverhound from grave. Obviously, you won't be able to search for Perfume, but that's okay. You'll then use our Perfume Dancer's effect to add Collider Chick back to hand and then summon her back to your side of the field. You'll activate Collider Chick's effect, send in a Martin to the graveyard. Martin's effect to return Wolf to hand to summon yourself back to field. See, this is where things become a little bit controversial because you will then overlay into Dugaris. Now, some judges will rule that you can't activate Dugaris' effect to summon something from grave, even though detaches its cost because you don't have a legal target. See, in the game, cost is kind of separated by a semicolon. If you look at the card on the left, you'll see the semicolon is after the card says detach and then activate one of these effects. So, but on the other hand, a lot of times in Yu-Gi-Oh, don't quote me on this, but sequencing is separated by a comma. So the way it would sequence is you detach and then select one of these effects. But because the detach happens before the selection, you can use the effect to summon from grave. I believe simultaneous effects in the game are separated by an and sequencing is by a comma. But don't quote me on that. It's it's a very fiddly ruling, which is why we don't have anything concrete in the TCG just yet. But on Edo, just like Omega and Omastral, it seems to work. So you can detach 2 to activate effect, and you can then special summon 1 from grave. So we'll special summon out Collider Chick. You'll use Collider Chick's effect to send Leo Dancer to grave. And then you want to go into an IP. Again, this is the whole reason why I play IP. It just reinforces your lines through Droll. Activate Wolf, and then Wolf's effect to fusion out to Liger Dancer using Perfume, Kaleido, Leo, and Martin. So we ended on a Liger plus an IP that can go into an SP. The next couple of lines I'm going to show you don't really care about how your judge is going to rule, they just work. So in this case we have Masquerades, we'll activate that. We'll use its effect as an ignition effect to send a Lunalight from deck to grave the turn it's activated, and we will send Silverhound. Silverhound's effect will activate, and in this case you want to go for Golio. Doesn't matter what position you summon in, I just think it's safer in defense position, and it also reminds us that she was summoned of Silverhound, so long as she's on the field we are locked into Lunalights. You want to activate her effect to add Collider Chick to your hand, and then you want to discard the monster you have in hand. So for this combo you do need Masquerade plus a monster to discard. So we happen to have Droll in this case, and our opponent will then be given an opportunity to activate the Droll in their hand. Again, we're completely fine, so we're going to normal summon Collider Chick, activating her effect to send Wolf to the graveyard. Then Golio's effect's going to activate, and we will add Wolf back to hand. Activate Wolf, and then you want to use its effect to fusion summon, to fusion summon our Perfume Dancer using the Goldio on your side of the field and the Silverhound from grave. We obviously don't get the search, but we can use Perfume Dancer to add the Collider Chick back to our hand and then summon it to reset the effect. Activate Collider Chick's effect to send Yellow Martin to grave. Yellow Martin's effect to return Wolf to hand to summon herself. Overlay into Dugaris, and then in this case we already have a legal target in the monster we discard, so we can activate without worry, detaching the 2 to special summon a monster from grave. Because it doesn't target, we can just go for the Collider Chick, and then we can activate Collider Chick's effect again to send the Leo Dancer, link into IP, activate Wolf, which is not a hard once per turn, and then fusion summon out a Liger Dancer. We can activate the Collider Chick optionally, but of course we're going first so we don't have a battle phase. So Foolish Barrel also plays through Droll, and it works very similar to the Masquerade line I just showed you. So you'll activate Foolish, and like before you want to send Silverhound to grave. Silverhound's effect will activate, and you want to use it to summon out Goldio to your side of the field, who will then search on summon, and we want to go for Collider Chick and then discard and res. So we will discard the Droll Knockbird, and our opponent will obviously have the window to activate theirs. So like before, this combo does require you to have Foolish Burial plus a monster to discard. We'll then normal summon Collider Chick, and we'll activate her effect to send Wolf to the graveyard, and then use the effect of Goldio to add the Wolf back to hand. Activate Wolf. Wolf's effect fusion summon, and we want to go for Perfume Dancer using the Goleo on our side of the field and the Silverhound. So something about these combos is a lot of times we have to use the Silverhound Engrave to fusion summon, so we don't really have a spell trap negate during our bonus turn. But that's okay, like I said, if you're playing through Droll, you can't exactly be too fussy. So we'll then activate Perfume Dancer's effect, resetting the Collider check, and then using her effect in the new chain to send Yellow Martin to grave. Martin's effect to return Wolf to hand and summon herself back to the field. Overlay into Dugaris. Again, we already have a legal target engrave, so again, we're completely fine depending no matter what our judges rule. And then special summon on from grave, you always want to go for Collider check. Collider check's effect for the third time to send Leo Dancer. And then special summon out IP using the 2 bodies on field. Or the two Lunalight bodies on your side of the field. Activate Wolf, and then Wolf's effect to fusion. Like a Dancer. Using the 4 Lunalights we have engrave. Now, something that I don't think I've mentioned specifically, but a lot of times you always want to link off your Lunalights to make Masquerade because you're going to fuse them off. And if you don't do that, you can't exactly make an SP during your opponent's turn using the Dugaris that we have left. So Fractal, like the others, beats Droll, but unlike the other 2 combos that I've just showed you, Fractal does not need you to have a monster in hand to discard, it just needs you to have any other card in your hand to discard. You know, for the purpose of illustrating this, I put Dark Bell in our hand, but you'll see what I mean in a second. So we'll activate its effect, and this will allow us to send a level 3 or lower Beast Warrior or Tri-type to the graveyard. So of course we're going to go for Silverhound. We're going to use Silverhound's effect to special summon out Goleo. Goleo's effect to search, and then discard. So we're going to go for Collider check, and then just to showcase that Fractal doesn't really need you to have another monster, it just needs a card that you can discard. So we'll discard the Dark Ruler, and our opponent will then get the opportunity to activate the Droll on their side. We'll normal summon Kaleido, use her effect, send Wolf, Leo to add the Wolf, activate Wolf, Wolf's effect, fusion into Perfume Dancer using Goleo and Silverhound, Perfume Dancer to add Collider check to hand, special summon Collider check, and then activate her effect to send Yellow Martin. Martin's effect to want to return Wolf to your hand, summon herself, and like before, you're going to go into Dugaris, and then activate its effect to detach into to summon out Collider check from grave. See, because we already had a legal target in Fractal, we can do this without worry. Activate the effect. Send Leo Dancer to grave. Link over into IP. Activate Wolf. And then fusion into Lancea Lines using the 4 Lunalights in grave. So while not as explosive as the other lines, Tenki also gets you something. So you'll activate Tenki, and this is where a lot of people will be tempted to add Goleo because it is the deck's premium 1-card starter, but you should always go for Fractal in case your opponent has Droll, as you guys will see in a second. So we add Fractal to hand, and at this point our opponent does have Droll, so they're going to activate it. And if we added Goleo, you know, that would basically be the end of our turn. And if they didn't activate Droll or not, but we would have the Fractal to go full combo as I showed you previously. So we will activate the effect in this case, pitching itself to send Silverhound from next to the graveyard. Silverhound's effect is going to activate, and in this case we're not going for Goleo because it basically has no effect under Droll to summon out Collider check. You want to activate Collider check's effect to send Yellow Martin to grave. Use Martin's effect to add Collider check back to hand, summoning herself. Normal summon the Collider check. Use its effect to send, I guess it doesn't really matter, it's just any fusion monster from your extra deck. In this case, I'm going to go for the Panther Dancer because it is the one that is least likely to come up. And then you want to special summon out Baguska. So even though our opponent had Droll, off a 1-card combo we ended on Baguska plus a Spell Trap negate thanks to Silverhound. So this line is very specific, but you can beat Droll if you open Polymerization, Silverhound, and Collider check. So you'll start off by activating polymerization, and you want to fuse Perfume Dancer using Collider Check and Soulbound. So on summon, there's going to be a few trigger effects. You want to go Chainlink 1 Perfume Dancer, Chainlink 2 Silverhound to summon from deck. You can do these interchangeably, but what's important is that Collider Check needs to be Chainlink 3 to Chain Block. And you'll use its effect to add polymerization to your hand. Not too important, but again, like, it's better to chain block than not to chain block. So we'll summon Goleo, and new chain, after we add Perfume to hand, new chain Goleo's effect is going to activate, or rather we get our window to activate it, but because we're a turn player we have to activate it as Chainlink 1, which means our opponent gets to Droll, and we don't get the effect to search. That's completely fine. We'll activate Perfume to summon back out Collider Check from grave, and you want to use Collider Check's effect to send Wolf to the graveyard. We can then use Goleo to add Wolf back to hand, and something that's important to note here is because we summoned the Goleo of Silverhound, so long as we control the Goleo, we cannot special summon anything besides Lunalight. You'll notice that we cannot go into anything from extra deck. It's completely locked out. It's okay. We'll activate Wolf, and then we need to use the effect of Perfume to reset Collider Check's effect. So we'll add to hand and then special summon her back, and then use her effect to send Leo Dancer to grave. Like I said before, we can't really do anything fancy with our extra deck here, so we just have to activate Wolf's effect to fusion summon. I would use the monsters I have on field, so Collider Check, Perfume Dancer, Goleo, and the Leo Dancer from grave, which we have to summon out Liger. So even though this board looks weaker than the ones I showed you and we had to use more cards to get to it, we still have a Liger Dancer which is unaffected. It also has a nuke during our opponent's turn. After we nuke, because we still have the Silverhound in grave, we can then negate a spell trap, and then during our turn we have the Perfume in grave for follow-up. The same combo I just showed you can be performed with Lunalight Fusion if you don't happen to have polymerization in hand. So we'll activate the fusion, and like before we want to summon out Perfume Dancer using the two monsters on our side of the hand. Okay, in this case though we don't have the Collider Check chain block, so just always important to remember that, so we have to choose how we want to activate these effects. I feel as though you could probably do more with the Silverhound than the Perfume, so just in case I would activate Silverhound as Chainlink 1 and then Perfume Dancer as Chainlink 2. So we'll add the Perfume and then we will summon out Goleo like we did before. Because we're a turn player, we have priority, so we will activate Goleo's effect, and of course our opponent can then respond with Droll, which unfortunately does negate the Goleo search. So we will then activate Perfume, summon back out Collider, use her effect to send Wolf, and then Goleo to add Wolf to hand. Like before, we can activate Wolf, it's not necessary to do it now, but we will activate the Wolf at some point, so it doesn't really matter. We'll then use Perfume to add Collider Check to hand, and then summon itself, resetting the effect. And then activate Collider to send Leo Dancer, and then from here you can activate Wolf to summon out Liger. Again, we want to use all the monsters on our side of the field plus the Leo, so that during our opponent's turn after we've nuked, we can use the Silverhound in grave to spell trap negate. We don't have a polymerization to discard off Perfume, but we have whatever we draw off the top for follow-up. So the last combo I want to show you kind of showcases how you can go about ending on the same board I just showed you, but if you don't open up polymerization or Lunalight Fusion. So in this case, you will need the black sheep obviously to search the polymerization or to search polymerization, and then you'll need either Tiger or Perfume. For the purpose of illustrations, I've just put both in hand, but obviously you just need one or the other. So we would lead by activating Black Sheep to add polymerization from deck to hand, and from this point it's the easiest Droll of our opponent's life. They're gonna slam that onto the table. So they'll activate Droll, and from here you will activate the polymerization that you just searched to summon out Perfume Dancer, sending Collider Check and the Silverhound. Okay, Now, we don't really have too many trigger effects, but we'll activate Silverhound's effect to summon from deck a Chainlink 1, and then we will chain block with Collider Check, who's going to add the polymerization from grave to hand. Summon out Goldio. Obviously, we can't activate the Goldio's effect because we are under Droll. And then from this situation, you would then activate either the Tiger or the Perfume, whichever you drew, to summon out the Collider Check from grave. You'll use Collider Check's effect to send Wolf to grave, and then Goldio's effect to add the Wolf to hand. Reset your Collider Check with Perfume Dancer, and then activate her effect to send a Leo Dancer. Like before, we are still locked into Lunalights because we control the Goldio that we summon from deck. So we'll just activate Wolf's effect fusion, and we'll summon out Liger Dancer using, again, the monsters we have on field, plus the Leo from grave. And yeah, just like that, we ended up on a Liger, plus a Spell Trap Negate after we nuke, and follow up. Generally speaking, Nibiru is not a problem for this deck, as you guys will see. So we'll go about our combo as always. So we'll normal summon Goldio. This could be any one of your starters. Just remember, if it isn't Goldio, you'll need to discard as well. You're playing with 5 cards in hand, so generally not an issue. So we'll be using Goldio's effect. I would generally want to play around Droll Knockwood, so I would go for Silverhound, and I would pitch it. From here, you'd use Silverhound's effect to summon out Collider Check from deck. From here, I can activate Collider Check, and I'm going to use the effect to send Black Sheep as always. Goldio's effect to add the Black Sheep back to hand. Activate the Black Sheep to add polymerization back to hand. So even though we're taking a lot of steps and actions, we've only summoned twice. Our fusion will be number 3, so we'll activate polymerization. This will be our 3rd summon. Chainlink 1 and Chainlink 2. This is going to add polymerization to hand. This will summon itself. Well, not summon itself. It's going to add polymerization to hand, and this is going to search Perfume, which is going to be used to summon from grave. So we'll activate Perfume, and we'll use its effect to summon out Collider from grave. This is our 4th summon. See, our opponent still has not gotten an opportunity to activate Nibiru. Activate Collider Check's effect to send Leo Dancer to graveyard. This is the reason why we always want to send Leo Dancer to graveyard first, is in case our opponent has Nibiru or something like of the sort. From here, I would tend to use Perfume Dancer's effect to reset the Collider Check. So I'm sorting back out the Collider Check. And from here, our opponent can activate Nibiru. Generally speaking, you want to activate Nibiru earlier than later against this deck. Well, generally you should be siding out Nibiru's, but if you are main decking it against Lunalight, then you probably want to activate it earlier than later. So this summons the tokens by side of the field. Still not too much of an issue, even though we have nothing on field, because we have Perfume in grave. So we'll use Perfume, we'll pitch the polymerization, and we'll add Wolf. We'll activate Wolf, and we'll use Wolf's effect to fusion summon out Liger. So we'll be sending, I would generally go for Collider Check, Leo Dancer, Goldio, and Black Sheep in the situation. So just in case, for whatever reason, we have then a Spell Trap Negate that is live during our turn already and your opponent's. From here, you can activate Liger's effect. In fact, I would generally recommend doing so. And I would either send Saber Dancer, Panther Dancer, or a second Leo Dancer. It doesn't really matter, we just want to fill up our graveyard for the next turn. So we get rid of the Nibiru, so they're starting with a card down. And we still manage to get a Liger with a live negate, and we are building our follow-up for next turn. Because during our opponent's turn, we can nuke again. And then from there, we can use Wolf to start fusion summoning and start doing nothings again. From the combos I've shown you, you should realize that we summoned a Liger as a 6th summon. So activating Nibiru anytime after that still means that we end on at least a Liger, because it's unaffected, right? So what happens if your opponent then decides to wait until you end board? Well, I wouldn't recommend doing this, because it means giving us a second Liger, as you guys will see in a second. So I'm just going to go about my combo quickly. By now, you guys should know what our basic bread and butter combo is. So we'll just be pitching the Silverhound, using its effect. And we want to summon out Collider Check. We're not going to deviate too much or at all. So we'll be pitching the black sheep and then using Golio's effect to add the black sheep back to hand. Activate black sheep, search for polymerization. Activate polymerization. And fuse for perfume dancer. Use the effect chain link 1 and the effect of collider check is chain link 2. Adding back the polymerization. Add in perfume. So we'll activate perfume and we'll summon back out the collider check. We'll use collider check's effect to send the first Leo dancer and then reset the effect with perfume dancer. From here again we said we're going to hold off on the Nibiru, so we'll activate Kaleido and from here you'd send Yellow Martin. Activate the effect of perfume, pitch in polymerization to add wolf. We'll go into cross sheep, activate wolf, use wolf's effect, and we will go for Liger. Just the regular 4. Effect of cross sheep, summon back out collider check to outside of the field. Activate the effect. And we will send the second copy of Leo Dancer to grave. Activate the effect of Yellow Martin to return Wolf to hand. Summon itself. Again, from this point our opponent isn't activating Nibiru. We will go into Tiger King. And use the effect of Tiger King to set Tenki. We'll activate Tenki. And we want to add Tiger. Use the effect of Tiger King to pitch the Collider check. Activate Tiger. Activate the effect of Tiger again to summon out our Collider check. From here, if our opponent decides to nib for some reason, we still have enough material to make a second Liger. But if they hold off, we'll just send another name from deck to graveyard. And go for IP. We'll activate Wolf. Use Wolf's effect to summon out the second Liger. So we're gonna go these 4, leaving the Silver Hound in graveyard. So from here, okay, I'm just gonna activate Collider check to open up a chain for the simulator. We would proceed to go to end phase, and if we do, our opponent will then be given a window to activate Nibiru, which would then tribute out 2 link monsters to summon itself to their side of the field and the tribute monsters for the token. So this already looks like they got some value out of it, at least, right? Because it took out our links. But we have 2 Ligers instead of 1, plus we can just use one of the Ligers now to send something from my extra deck to the graveyard. And this means that not only is our opponent starting 1 card down, we already have a fusion in the graveyard, meaning our Silver Hound is live from the minute they start their turn. So it's still enough interrupts. Sure, we lose the SB, but again, Nibiru's not doing anything to you. You don't need to worry about it. Believe it or not, Lunalight can play through both a Nibiru and a Droll. So what you'll need is a starter, and then any one of these 4. So yeah, these are interchangeable, and you basically need a way to summon from the graveyard. I'll be showing you how to do it with Masquerade because it gets the least attention, but it's also one of the ones that you're statistically most likely to draw. Same with Tenki, you're playing both of these at 3, so if your opponent uses both of these against you, you then just will Tenki for the Tiger. So we'll normal summon Golio, and we'll use Golio's effect. Going about our line as we normally do, so we're playing around Droll, as always, so we will add the Silver Hound, pitch the Silver Hound, And from here, we will activate the Silverhound's effect, and our opponent will be given an opportunity to activate Droll Awkward. They activate Droll, and well, you know, I've just shown you how to play around this, so not too much of an issue. You'll summon a Collider Chick to your side of the field. You'll use Collider's effect to send Wolf to the graveyard, and then use the effect of Golio to add the Wolf back to hand. You'll activate Wolf, using its effect to fusion summon Perfume Dancer using the Golio on the field and the Silverhound from grave. This is our third summon. We'll then use the effect of Perfume Dancer to add Collider Chick back to hand, summon it to our side of the field. This is summon number 4. You'll use Collider Chick's effect to send Yellow Marten to the graveyard, and you'll use Yellow Marten now to return the Wolf to hand, summon itself to your side of the field. From here, your opponent will be given an opportunity to use Nibiru. Most of the time, like I said, they'll use Nibiru on the first summon, or rather, if you have Nibiru and you're going to use it, it should be on the first summon against this deck. And further reason is because if they're Nibiru now, the Yellow Marten gets banished. So they'll use the effect of Nibiru, and this basically attributes our board, and they'll summon their boy to this side of the field, and the rock generates one of the anima zones. Okay, so we're in a bit of a weird situation. So this is where you would use one if your extended to summon back from grave. So in this case, I would be going for Masquerade, because I said it is the one that gets the least attention. It also shows why Emerald Bird is just so good in this deck. So we'll use Emerald Bird's effect when it's sent to graveyard to summon back out the Collider Chick. Collider Chick will hit the field. We will then use its effect. Even though it is negated, we can still send its cost. We'll send Leo Dancer. And from here, you can link into an SP or a Cross Sheep. I guess it doesn't really matter too much. We'll go into Cross Sheep. And then we will use the effect of Wolf, and use Wolf's effect to fusion summon out like a Dancer. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, and 4. We obviously have nothing else in grave. I mean, going into an IP does nothing in this situation either. So we'll just summon out our boy Liger, and even though we got hit with the Nibiru, we're still completely fine. Because now we can even just activate this to destroy the Nibiru, and we're still good for next turn. Golio is all you need to play around a Lancea. So start by normal summon Golio and activate this phase. Normally your opponent would shotgun this if they don't know what they're playing against. So in this case, because I'm using a simulator, I'm gonna have to chain it, but normally they would shotgun it. Assuming again that they don't know how to play against this deck. So then you'll be adding Yellow Marten, and you'll be pitching that on res, using Marten's effect to add Masquerade to hand. You'll then activate Masquerade, use its effect to dump Silverhound. Okay, now we're going to use Silverhound's effect to summon a Collider Chick. So from here, nothing out of the ordinary, but this is where things start to change. So we'll activate Collider Chick's effect, and you want to send Tiger to graveyard. We'll then use the effect of Golio to add Tiger to hand. Then you want to use the effect of Yellow Marten to return Collider Chick to your hand. The reason why we're doing this is to turn off the Lunalight block, and you want to go into Tiger King. Tiger King's effect on summon is going to set a tanky. You can then activate the tanky to add Black Sheep to hand. Okay. So from here, you want to use Black Sheep's effect, and you want to grab Polymerization from deck to hand. Then you want to activate Tiger, and use Tiger's effect to summon back up Black Sheep specifically. From here, you can activate Poly, and you want to fuse using the Black Sheep and the Collider Chick. A couple of trigger effects. So Chain Link 1 will always be Perfume Dancer because we want to chain block, and then Chain Link 1 Black Sheep and Chain Link 2 Collider Chick. So this is going to add Polymerization to hand. The Black Sheep will add Kaleido back to hand, and Perfume Dancer will fetch us Perfume. From here, you want to link summon into Cross Sheep, and then use Perfume to summon back out Perfume Dancer to a zone cross shape points to. This will trigger cross shape's effect to summon out a Lunalight from grave. In this case, we're just going to summon back the Goldeo. And then you want to use the effect of Perfume Dancer to reset the Tiger and summon out Collider Check. Use Collider Check's effect to send Leo Dancer to the graveyard. And then you want to activate Tiger, using its effect to summon back out one of the Lunalights from grave. Doesn't matter which one, but probably we'll just go for Yellow Marten. From here, you can polymerize. You can use polymerization to fuse into Lancea Dancer using your 4 monsters on your side of the field, because Collider Check is treated as Leo Dancer because of its effect. And then you can activate Masquerade to add back polymerization. And even in a situation that seemed kind of bleak, you end on a Lancea Dancer, follow up, plus a Spell Trap negate. So a knowledgeable opponent will know not to activate Lancea in the draw phase unless they're playing against Malice. And they would of course know the matchup, well, know what they're playing against, because Lancea is a side deck card. So this will, you'll only really see this during games 2 or 3. And an opponent that knows Lunalight, or that is at least somewhat knowledgeable about the game, will know that you generally want to hold Lancea until your opponent commits to something. With Lunalight, there is a specific choke point in which you want to play Lancea, and when you do, it can be a bit difficult to play through. Now, to play through it, you will need a starter. In this case, I have Goldeo. It can be one of your other starters, but if you do, you will just need a discard, which is what the Lancea, I guess, in our hand represent. And then to combo through that, you will need 2 names, or at least a way to get to 2 other Lunalight names. So obviously I'm not expecting you to draw a 9-card hand because you can't, but like something that you need to keep in mind is that when you're playing this deck, or when you're playing in practice, you'll generally be comboing with 5 cards in hand. So there is a lot of times combinations that will help you play through things. So these other 5 cards in hand represent the way you can, other ways that you can get into 2 names. So you basically just need to draw two of these in combination. Okay. So you'll normal summon Goldeo. You'll use its effect. You obviously want to play around Droll Lines, so you'll be going for Silverhound instead of Yellow Marten. You'll be pitching the Silverhound and then using its effect to summon from deck. So you'll be going for Collider Check. And you want to activate Collider Check's effect by sending Black Sheep, or to send Black Sheep. From your opponent gets a window to activate anything, but they're holding that Lancea. You'll then activate Goldeo to add it back to hand. With the Black Sheep in hand, you will now activate it to add polymerization from deck to hand. So far nothing out of the ordinary. You'll then be activating polymerization to fusion summon out Perfume Dancer. Again, normal trigger effects, Chaining 1 and Chaining 2. From here, you want to activate Perfume to summon Collider from grave. This is where your opponent could activate the Lancea in their hand. I'm doing it now because, you know, I'm using a simulator, so things are weird, but generally they would wait for resolution to activate the Lancea. It doesn't really matter too much, it's just, I guess, smarter to do it that way. And the reason why they'll do this here is because it immediately stops the grave effect of Perfume, and it means that we have to have already committed to a play. So we are in a bit of a weird situation, or at least we should be. The way we're going to get around this, right, is we're going to activate Collider Check's effect, and we'll send Leo Dancer to grave, and then we'll use the effect of Perfume Dancer to reset the Collider Check, summon it back to our side of the field. From here, you can activate Collider Check's effect again, and you want to send another Leo Dancer from deck to graveyard, and then you'll activate polymerization to fusion summon out Liger using Perfume Dancer, Collider Check, and the 2 names that you already had in hand. Okay. Now, of course, we don't need to activate anything because we're assuming that we were doing this in a vacuum. And from here, we have a Liger, which not the greatest thing, but it is still very difficult for a lot of people to deal with. We have the Spell Trap negate live from the Silverhound. We have follow-up for next turn in Perfume. And with a loaded graveyard, we can already go into the second Liger then. So most of the time you can get to your next turn, but just bear in mind that you then still have to roll with what you have in your hand to sort of push through. Yes, so Lancea does hurt the deck, but you should be fine, at least in theory. Imperm is probably this deck's greatest silver bullet, which is kind of funny considering it plays through other silver bullets pretty well. Like I just showed you lines that play through Lancea, Droll, Nibiru, Droll and Nibiru, but a single Imperm kind of forces you in a situation where if you don't have a perfume, you're kind of in a very bad situation. Even if you do have the perfume, you're probably going to use 4 cards in your hand to combo through. So you'll obviously, to do this, you'll need one of your starters that does not consume your normal summon. So Tenki, Masquerade, Burial, or Fractal. I kind of wanted to show you how this works with a 5 card hand. So I'll be using the Tenki to search the Fractal just to show you that it works the same. But yeah, most of the time, I think I've said this before, but if you're using Tenki to start your plays, you almost always want to go for Fractal. Reason being is if your opponent rolls, you can still use the Fractal to end on Baguska, and if they don't, you can just combo as normal. So we'll be activating the Fractal's effect, and we will be sending Silverhound to grave. We'll be using the Silverhound's effect to summon Goleo to outside of the field. From here, we'll try to use Goleo's effect, but our opponent will be able to use Imperm to negate. Okay, so again, if you don't have the perfume, you're kind of screwed. So we'll be activating perfume because we do have it, and we'll use its effect to summon back a hound. This is kind of the reason why a lot of players recommend playing 3 perfume, because it increases the probability in which you can play through Imperm, but usually you're playing with a good 5 card hand. That very rarely is this ever truly a problem, because you are able to just search it for way to fusion summon regardless. But anyway, we'll be showing you the way that works with perfume because it's the most, I think, practical. So we'll be activating perfume's effect, and we will be discarding one of the cards from my hand to search for Black Sheep. Use Black Sheep, and you want to search for polymerization. Then activate polymerization to fusion summon out Perfume Dancer using your bodies in the field. And we're going to use Perfume Dancer to search for a Lunalight Perfume. So Perfume is not a hard once per turn, so we can activate both of the effects again, but you want to use it now to summon out Goleo to the side of the field specifically. Then I want to use the Grave effect of Perfume again, discarding yet another card. See, we've burned through 4 cards in our hand so far, just because our opponent had 1 Imperm, and because we've not committed our normal summon, we can add Collider Chick to hand. Normal summon Collider Chick, and you want to use the effect to send Wolf to the graveyard. We'll then use the effect of Goleo to add the Wolf back to hand, and then the effect of Perfume Dancer to return Collider to hand and summon it back to reset the effect. You'll then use the effect of Collider Chick to send Leo Dancer to the graveyard, and from here you want to link summon into a Cross Sheep using 2 of your bodies on the field, one of which has to be the Collider Chick. Better to leave the level 4 because we can go into rank 4s, so not any 2. You want to send Perfume Dancer and you want to send the Collider Chick. You'll then activate Wolf, and you'll use Wolf's effect to fusion summon. In this case, you're obviously going for Liger, which you want to banish the Perfume Dancer, the Leo Dancer, the Silverhound, and the Black Sheep. So unfortunately, we won't have a spell trap negate because of this. So we'll summon out the Liger Dancer to outside of the field, and this will proc the effect of Cross Sheep. So this summons back out the Collider Chick to outside of the field, and we will use its effect to send Yellow Marten to grave. From here, you want to link summon into SP using Cross Sheep and the body you had on your field. Again, it just gives you more plays if you had the level 4. So again, I guess it really didn't matter. I talked myself into circles there. And you'll activate the effect of Yellow Marten to add the Wolf back to the hand, summoning the Marten to your side of the field, and then you will overlay into Baguska. So yeah, it's a 4 card combo, but we are able to play through Imperm if we have a starter that doesn't consume a normal summon and the perfume. This obviously works the same way if your opponent uses Effect Vela instead of Imperm, so please, if you guys start spamming me in the comments how to play through Effect Vela, I'm gonna lose my shit. If you find yourself in a situation where Goleo is the only starter you have, your opponent has Imperm, and I guess the only way you can extend your plays further is with perfume, this is kind of how you would go about it, right? So you'd start out by normal summon Goleo, you'd attempt to use the effect, your opponent would Imperm. Now, spoiler alert, you're not going to end on a Liger, but you can still end on something, so you just got to make do. So, from here, you'll link off into an Almirage. This is part of the reason why we play Almirage in the deck, and you want to use Perfume to summon back out Goleo to your side of the field. We'll then use the effect of Perfume, discarding a card from my hand, to search for Black Sheep. With Black Sheep in hand, you can now activate the effect, and you want to go for Polymerization. And on res, you want to then use the effect of Golio to add the Black Sheep back to hand. You can use Polymerization, and we're going to fusion summon out Perfume Dancer. From here, we'll get a few trigger effects. We'll go Chain Link 1 Perfume Dancer and then Chain Link 2 Black Sheep. We aren't really going to make do with the Golio this turn. We're adding it back to our hand for follow-up for next turn, but also to chain block. Like, we lost to an Imperm. Well, we didn't lose, but we hit pretty heavily by an Imperm. It would suck if we got hit by something else too. So we will activate Perfume, and we'll use it to add to summon back the Black Sheep to our side of the field. From here, you can activate Perfume, and you'll discard the other card in your hand, depending on what it is. If it's a hand trap, don't. And we'll use this to add Collider Chick to hand. We'll then activate the effect of Perfume Dancer to add the Black Sheep back to hand and special summon out Collider Chick to our side of the field. From here, you can use Collider Chick's effect to send something from deck to graveyard. It doesn't really matter too much, I guess. Considering we didn't, you want to send a Silverhound, so it does matter because we want to set up a Spell Trap Negate, right? So we send the Silverhound to grave, and not too much we can do, right? So the only thing we can do is we want to link someone into an IP, and we need to do so using the Kaleido and the Perfume, because IP cannot use a link. IP will summon to our side of the field, and basically this is all that we've got, right? It's unfortunate because we also ended up using like 3 cards in our hand. We were able to recover some. During opponent's turn, we can IP into SP, banish something, use SP's effect again to banish something else. We've also got the Spell Trap Negate that is live because of the Perfume Dancer plus the Silverhound. And we have a Goldio plus Black Sheep in our hand for Hollow for next turn. So you have to use your interruptions very smart, but if you do, you'll be fine. There's only really one place for your opponent to resolve Ash Blossom, and that's against Silverhound when you're comboing off. And when they're going first and you're trying to break the board, then they generally want to save the Ash for the Lunalight Fusion. So in this scenario, I'm going to show you just kind of what happens when your opponent hand traps correctly. So we'll be using Goldio's effect. As always, we will not use the Ash on the Goldio because that's a very bad thing to do. And we'll go for the Silverhound. So you're always going to hold, well, they're always going to hold it for the Silverhound if they know what they're doing. Silverhound's effect is going to activate, and from here, our opponent is given the opportunity to use Ash Blossom, assuming we don't use the effect of Goldio to add it back to our hand, which we probably won't be because, I mean, it stymies our own plays then. So from here to kind of combo through, you'll need a way to get to Polymerization or a way to fuse. So we have Black Sheep in this case, and you'll need a way to get to Collider Chick. So of course you can hard draw Collider Chick and then use the 10 key to search for the Black Sheep. But in this case, we're just showing it the other way around. And you want to activate Polymerization to fusion summon out Perfume Dancer, use Perfume as Chain Link 1, and the effect of Collider Chick as Chain Link 2. This adds to hand, you will get your Perfume. And from here, you want to activate Perfume to summon back out the Collider Chick. And I'm sure from here, you guys have already recognized that at this point, we're just comboing off as we normally do, so there's not really much point in me showing you where to go from here. You're just going to combo as always, and you'll end up on the same board you usually do. There's a couple of places your opponent can get value off a Ghost Ogre. Most commonly, they'll either save their Ghost Ogre for the Masquerade, assuming you lead with it. Otherwise, they'll use the Ghost Ogre on one of your Pendulum skills. So I'll just show you when we're using Masquerade, we'll activate Masquerade. It is an ignition effect to use the effect, so they can use Ghost Ogre. It'll negate the Ghost Ogre, and from here you will need to resort to one of your other 3 or 4 starters. So you'll normal summon the Goldio, you'll use Goldio's effect. You're obviously going for the Silverhound line because we won't be able to resolve Masquerade because it is a hard once per turn. So we're going for Silverhound, you'll pitch the Silverhound's effect will activate to summon out Collider Chick from deck. And from here you're just going to combo as always, so nothing I need to showcase, but yeah. So generally if they do the Ghost Ogre on the Masquerade, you need to beat them by using another starter. Now I've already mentioned this, but there's 2 places where your opponent will get value of a Ghost Ogre. One of which will be against Masquerade if you activate it early in your combo, And then the second way that they will is off one of your, by using it against one of your pendulum scales. Now, if we progress this far in the combo and our opponent hasn't used Ogre, it's very likely that we went for the combo that discards or dumps Silverhound directly, which means we're going for the Wolf line and not the Tiger line. Because the Tiger line, you will most likely have used Masquerade early. Okay, so we'll activate Wolf. We'll try to use Wolf's effect, and at this point our opponent's given an opportunity to use Ghost Ogre, and they should, because they get a ton of value out of it. Because frustrating enough, Wolf is a pendulum, and when pendulums are destroyed, they don't go to grave, they go to the face-up extra deck. So now to push through from this position, you need a way to summon back out the Collider Chick from the graveyard, as well as a way to search for your second copy of Black Sheep. Neither of those cards are hard ones per turn, so we can activate the effects multiple times so long as we have more copies of them. So, Lunalight Perfume fulfills both parts of this requirement, being able to both summon from grave and search. But if you don't, a combination of Tiger and Tanky or hard opening the second Black Sheep plus one of these also gets things done. So in this case, I'm just going to show you Perfume. So we'll use Perfume again because again, not hard runs per turn, so we can abuse it. Summon out Collider Chick. We want to use Collider Chick's effect to send from the deck or extra deck to the graveyard, and yes, it can send from the face-up extra deck to the graveyard, so we'll send the face-up Wolf to graveyard. From here, you'll use the Grave effect of Perfume, again also not a hard once per turn, to banish it, discard, and then we'll add the second copy of Black Sheep from deck to hand. You want to activate Black Sheep, and you're going to use its first effect to add a Lunalight monster from grave to hand, so we'll be adding back the Wolf. Fun fact, Wolf is also not a hard once per turn, so we can activate Wolf and from this position fusion summon again. So we'll use the effect, and we want to make a Liger. So you want to banish the first Black Sheep, the Leo Dancer, the Gold Leo, and the second Black Sheep to summon out a Liger to your side of the field. This will trigger Cross Sheep's effect, and you want to summon out Silverhound to your side of the field. From here, you can link summon into an SB using Silverhound and Cross Sheep. And then the Grave effect of Yellow Marten, which we pitched earlier in the combo, going about a normal line to summon itself to our side of the field, and then we can special summon out a Baguska. We have the standard board, plus we have a live Silverhound. Very specific, but right, the whole idea is that you'll be playing on 5 cards, and this is one of the ways in which you can push through a Ghost Ogre even if it is activated at a critical time. There are 3 spots your opponent can get value out of a Ghost Belle. So the first one happens pretty early in your combo, and so when you reach a point we have Gold Leo plus Collider Chick. From here you'd normally use Collider Chick's effect to send a Black Sheep to graveyard, and then you'd use Gold Leo's effect to add the Black Sheep to hand, and your opponent would then be presented with their first opportunity to activate Belle, and they would use it to stop you from getting your Black Sheep to hand, essentially stopping you from being able to fusion summon. So to play through this, right, you either need a way to fusion summon, so this can be Lunalight Fusion or Polymerization, or a way to get to your second copy of Black Sheep, as you would with Tanky. I'm showing you Tanky because you have more copies of Tanky than you do Polymerization and Fusion, so it just gives you, you're more likely to see it, right? So you would just do that to search Black Sheep. You'd use Black Sheep's effect to search for Polymerization. And from here, you're just off to the races again. It's as though your opponent didn't value at all, because you'll use the Polymerization, you'll go for your Perfume Dancer, and from here, you guys should recognize where things are going. We're going to use Perfumer Chainlink 1, Kaleido is Chainlink 2, and we're just comboing off as normal. The second place your opponent can get value out of a Belle is when you're using Perfume to summon back out your Collider Chick from grave. At this point in the combo, they can activate the Belle to stop the Collider summon, although I would argue that this is a pretty bad move to do. Why? Because, well, Perfume is not a hard once per turn, and you have multiple ways in which you can recover from this, such as by using Tiger, Tanky to search Tiger, Masquerade, or if you just happen to have another Perfume in hand. So I'm going to show you how to go through this with Masquerade, because it doesn't get as much attention as it should. So you'd activate Masquerade, and you would send Emerald Bird to the graveyard, and you'd use Emerald Bird's effect to special summon out the Collider Chick back to your side of the field. The neat part about this interaction is that even if your opponent banishes the Collider Chick with something like a Bastille or DD Crow, Emerald Bird can still summon it back because it special summons a level 4 lower Lunalight from grave or banishment. So Emerald Bird, great. And of course, even though the effect's negated, we can still send for cost. So we'll be sending the Leo Dancer, use the effect of Perfume Dancer to add the Collider back to your hand, and then summon it back to your side of the field. use its effect to send Yellow Marten. And see, from here again, we're just in the exact same place that we always are, because we'll just use Perfume to discard, and we add Wolf. We can go for a Cross Sheep, and we're just comboing as normal, like exactly as normal. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend using Belle if you're playing against Lunalight to use it here. And if your opponent does use it against you while you're piloting Lunalight, just know that you have so many ways to play through it, and Masquerade is one of the coolest ways that you can. So the third spot is a bit of a weird one, right? Because you don't really need to draw any other card to kind of combo through your opponent using Ghost Belle this late into your combo. You'll see in our graveyard, we've progressed far enough with the one card combo. We're at the point now where we can just activate Wolf that we searched off Perfume to fusion summon out Liger, or at least we can try to, and our opponent will activate Ghost Belle. So even though we don't really have any kind of extension in our hand as we did with other combos, we can still combo through by using Yellow Marten's effect to add the Wolf back to hand, summon its outside side of the field, and then you can activate Wolf again. And because it's not a hard ones per turn, you can activate its effect now to fusion summon. So I say it's a bit weird, right? Because from this position, it kind of looks like our opponent isn't getting any value out of their Ghost Belle, but it does mean that we're in a position where we are unlikely to end on a second Liger. Not the end of the world by any means, but it does become a bit frustrating in the sense that against certain matchups like against Dracotail, you kind of need two Ligers against them, because a smart Dracotail pilot will be able to navigate their lines to the point where they can sort of bait your one Liger's effect, if assuming you only have one Liger, and then make a Titaniclad or a Dragoon that can then beat over your Liger. Like if Dragoon gets one negate off, it's almost impossible for you to beat it, because you don't have any way to out monsters without attacking them, or without using destruction, or by targeting them with something like an SP. And if it has one negate, that's 4,000 attacks, so you're probably not running over it anyway. Your only way around it would probably be to make a Baguska and then attack through with Wolf. But again, they can just turn off the Baguska doing the Dracotail things like Malulu. I believe when it's sent to grave, it just negates something. So yeah, it is a bit of a weird situation because we didn't really lose too much advantage. They lost the card in their hand and we still ended the Liger, but they can just, it's a simplified state, right? That's why I say it's very weird, but I guess it depends on the matchup. Like I said, if you're Dracotail player, this is probably where you want to use your Ghost Belle. Everywhere else, you want to use it earlier in the combo. Lastly, as far as Handtraps are concerned, we need to talk about Mulcharmies. So whatever Mulcharmy your opponent uses against you, they're going to get some kind of value, right? You summon from hand. If you're using Perfume Dancer's effect, you're summoning from hand multiple times. You summon it from deck a ton of times with the effect of Silverhound. You summon from extra deck. You basically, 4 losses is going to hit them like 4 or 5 draws, maybe 6 if you go full combo. And then Belle's, again, you're summoning maybe once or twice from grave. So whatever they activate, they get in value. This shouldn't stop you though and put you in a position where you should make a half board. With this deck, you are always taking the Mulcharmy challenge and you are going to go full combo regardless. See, the reason is, I have shown you up to this point that they get value out of any hand trap that they use against you. Like, that's unfortunate. But it doesn't mean that they have to draw the specific hand trap at the specific point when that hand trap impacts you. Even then, I've also shown you how to play around them, so you don't really need to worry about that. If they have a Mulcharmy plus a hand trap in their hand already, then it's not the Mulcharmy that got them value, it was the thing in their hand. So you're going to go full combo. This deck wins and loses with a Liger. If you end on 2 Liger plus IP, and that can go into an SP junior opponent, then there's very little that they can do, because they need a dedicated out to beat Liger, and if they don't, then they're stuck in a position where they just need to stare them down while they try and play their turn with, even if they have 20 cards in hand. They're just, unless they have a way to beat Liger, there's nothing they can do. I know the argument is that it does help them draw into things like Lava Golem, but there are very few decks that can play Lava Golem in this format, so you don't really need to worry about that too much. And if you do, again, if you ended on a half board, your opponent's just going to get value out of the Lava Golem anyway, so just push through, play to win, you'll be fine. This is one of the alternative ending boards that I was talking about. So right now everything looks pretty standard. We kind of progress to those points using the Yellow Marten combo line, and we've got to a point where you would normally overlay into Baguska. Now post sighting, a lot of people will instead choose to overlay into Galleon Granite and then use Granite's effect to search for Nibiru. Now you might be asking yourself, why would you want to do this? Well, there's a few reasons, right? So the first reason is that obviously during one of your opponent's interactions, you'll use SP's effect to banish your 2 monsters. using SP and Granite, so that you essentially cleared your fields. The Nibiru isn't going to do too much. Apart from that, right, Liger Dance is unaffected by Nibiru. It's not a Lunalight card, so it's not going to tribute your Liger Dancer. So it essentially means that you've got a board wipe from hand, which is pretty good against, especially against specific matchups where you want to have layered interruption. One that comes to mind is White Forest, right? I know a lot of people argue that Bagooska does a lot of work against White Forest, and they're right. But White Forest also plays a ton of board breakers, which they will get value of resolving against your Bagooska. So this is one of the ways in which you can punish decks like that, because they can out your Liger. Like, let's be real, White Forest has a ton of ways that they can do that. They have Psychic End Punisher, they have Saint Azamina, they have Azamina, they have a lot of things that can deal with a Liger. So one of the ways you can prevent that and reinforce your board is by then using Nibiru, which then cleans their board. You can do it a lot of times before they get to the Omni Negate, and a lot of times they have to lead with the field spell or with Sylvie, which means that they're locked out of Dark Monsters and they're not going into something like, the Azamina Omni Negates. Apart from that, I think something that kind of, yeah, there's a lot of reasons to do this. Another reason what I was trying to say, but I just had like a bit of a half-baked thought, is that Konami seems to be killing all of the floodgates, right? Bagooska happens to be a floodgate, and if we reach a point where they do get rid of Bagooska, this is one of the ways you can adapt pretty quickly, just by going for a Primal Beam instead. I promised that I'd show you the M7 live, and well, this is the M7 line. I will be doing things a little bit differently, so this is a bit of a replay that I put together myself. And I just want to try something a bit differently to see if this resonates with you a bit better. So let me know if you prefer this style of combo tutorial, or if you prefer the one where I manually go through it by card. So to go through this combo, you will need a Goldio and a discard. And the way you would go about this is that you would obviously lead by going and activating Goldio's effect. And you want to search for Silverhound. So this is a line that leads to a line that plays through Droll. So that is a big plus in its favor. But it does lose to another turn in Handtrap, which is a little frustrating, and I'll point that out when we reach that sort of choke point. So we'll use the effect of Silverhound to summon our Collider Chick, Collider Chick's effect to send Black Sheep, Goldio's effect to add Black Sheep back to hand, sending Black Sheep from hand to add Polymerization to hand. Or Polymerization to summon out Perfume Dancer, and this is where things start to deviate a little bit, right? So we'll use Perfume Dancer Chaining 1, Collider Chick Chaining 2, and we'll search for Polymerization and Perfume. We'll activate Perfume to summon back out the Collider Chick, and then we want to use the Perfumes of Grave effect to banish it, and the free discard we had in hand to search for Tiger instead of Wolf. From here, you want to use Collider to pitch Yellow Marten. You want to activate Wolf to summon back out the Tiger to summon back out the Yellow Marten, and you want to then fusion summon using your Yellow Marten and your Collider Chick. So the reason why we're doing this is because Yellow Marten, when it's sent to the graveyard, has the effect that it searches a Lunalight spell trap, so we kind of need to resolve that, in addition to getting another level 6 to outside of the field. So we'll do that. We'll summon out the second copy of Perfume Dancer. So this is where I sort of have some gripes with this combo, because if your opponent Nibiru here, you're kind of cooked. It opens up a weak spot to Nibiru that the deck didn't really have, and I feel as though that is something that you need to consider when you're playing M7. A lot of the lines will just get cooked by Nibiru, so you need to think if it's worth it. Yes, it's explosive. Yes, it's weak to Nibiru, but again, I'm arguing it's weak to Nibiru, but I think you also need to be asking yourself how many of people know how to play against Lunalight and would save the Nibiru for this exact moment. I guess they'd have to identify it early and have to be experienced with it. So it is, I guess, a bit of a gamble. If it pays off, it's great. If not, that's just how it goes. So yeah, like I said, Yellow Marten will add a Lunalight spell trap to hand. In this case, we went for Masquerade. We'll then use the effect of Perfume Dancer to return the Tiger to hand, resetting its effect. We're doing this before we overlay for M7. We'll summon M7, we'll detach to add Black Sheep back to hand. We'll activate the Masquerade, use Masquerade to send Emerald Bird to summon back our Collider Chick. And we'll use Collider Chick's effect to send Wolf to the graveyard, and from here you want to use Black Sheep's effect to add the Wolf back to hand. With Wolf in hand, we can link off using our two monsters to summon out Cross Sheep. And you want to use Tiger's effect again to summon back out Collider Chick. So this line abuses Tiger like no other. You'll use Collider Chick's effect to send your first copy of Leo Dancer to the graveyard, and then the effect of Yellow Marten, which we haven't used, to return Tiger to hand, summon itself, and resetting the Tiger for another use. overlay into Tiger King, use Tiger King's effect, and then use Tenki's effect to search for another Lunalight. So we went for Black Sheep. It can be any Lunalight. We're basically just going to discard this latest so that we have enough names in the graveyard to fusion summon twice. We'll activate Wolf. We'll use Wolf's effect, and we want to summon out our first Liger, triggering the effect of Cross Sheep and the effect of Masquerade. It doesn't matter which way you sequence these. I guess I went Chain Link 1 Cross Sheep, Chain Link 2 Masquerade, but there is an argument to go in Chain Link 1 Masquerade, Chain Link 2 Cross Sheep to kind of protect this, because you will be using its effect to discard to fusion summon by banishing. As we did, we sent the Black Sheep from hand to grave. Okay, we just summoned back out of level 4. We didn't have too many options after we fusion summoned, especially with 2 under Tiger King, so we just went for the Emerald Bird. So something to remember when you are fusioning your Liger Dancer, make sure you keep a level 4 in the graveyard. We'll activate Tiger again to summon back out Collider Chick. Using Collider Chick's effect again to send out another Lunalight. We'll overlay for Baguska and link off into SP. Use Polymerization to fusion summon out the second Liger. So the advantage of this combo is that we ended on the double Liger Baguska SP board. And unlike the other combos that I showed you, which was kind of specific, like you needed a Gold Leo plus a level 4, or you needed a starter like Masquerade, Tenki, Fractal, Foolish Burial, plus a discard, plus a level 4. It kind of simplifies things. So yes, it does have the weakness to Nibiru. Yes, it takes up some of your extra deck, but the advantage is that you have that additional consistency. I do want to point out though that even though we ended on this board, we do not, okay, it's not let me show the graveyard, but we do not have a Silver Hound plus a fusion in the graveyard. We have a Silver Hound, and we have to first resolve one of the Ligers to make that live. So it is something that you need to consider. If this is something that you want to go for, they are its merits, but I don't generally, because I feel as though it is a little bit susceptible to weakness and well to hand traps, and I do want to have my extra deck being as versatile as possible. So it does take a few slots, so things, pros and cons. So before I love and leave you, I just wanted to show you this quick unique interaction that Lunalight can do with the SP Lunalight. So it doesn't really matter what our opponent has on their side of the field. We basically just need to make an SP using something from the extra deck so that it banishes on summon. So I'm going to summon the SP to our side of the field, and SP's effect going to activate to banish whatever our opponent has on the field. Usually you do this to sort of auto monster that can't be destroyed by battle or card effect, because as great as Lunalight is, most of your removal centers around you using battle and your monsters and Liger's effect to kind of clear the field. Things that can't be destroyed by battle and card effect is a bit of a challenge, right? So SP kind of helps with that. And I know a lot of people asking about like, how does this help facilitate an OTK when SP kind of locks you out of attacking directly for the turn? Well, the thing is, it doesn't. See, SP's effect says monsters you control cannot attack directly, right? It affects your monsters, not the player, because it doesn't say you cannot declare direct attack. It says monsters you control cannot. And because Liger is unaffected by anything that isn't a Lunalight, it is unaffected by SP's effect. So I'll enter battle phase. You can see the SP doesn't have an attack arrow over it. It can't attack, no matter how much I click on it, but the Liger can. And it also inflicts damage. No, this is not a glitch, it's just a unique ruling that kind of works for Lunalight and monsters that are unaffected, and it's something you should know because it does help you OTK a lot easier. So hope you guys enjoyed the spreadsheet. It took me quite a while to put this together, but if you don't mind doing so, just let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the next.